The divine sword is invincible. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126. Subdue the Beast. Bang. Yangtze Ocean's huge golden Buddha palms collided with the mighty fire dragon. The seemingly mighty fire dragon seemed to have hit the indestructible golden Buddha mountain. The flames were blasted by the golden Buddha palms, and the flames shot up into the sky. When the fire dragon exploded, the sky above the entire square turned red. The golden Buddha palms passed through the exploding fire dragon and hit Chenglong. Chenglong was blasted off the ring like a fallen leaf. As he flew up, the Buddha palms continued to hit him. Every time Chenglong was hit by a palm, he vomited a mouthful of blood. In the end, Chenglong flew hundreds of meters straight and hit the edge of the palace square. The people who were shocked that Chenglong broke through the 5th level of the Martial King were stunned when they saw Chenglong being blasted like a dead dog and smashed on the edge of the palace square. Even if he broke through the 5th level of the Martial King, Chenglong still lost. And it was a miserable defeat. From beginning to end, he could not force Yangtze Ocean to retreat even a little. Chen Zihan, who was originally delighted to see Chenglong break through the 5th level of the Martial King, now felt cold hands and feet when she looked at Chenglong lying on the edge of the palace square. Even Chenglong was beaten like a dead dog. What about her who was at the 3rd level of the Martial King? What would happen if she met Yangtze Ocean later? Kaiheo looked at Chenglong lying there, shocked, and couldn't help looking at Deng Yichen, remembering what Deng Yichen had always said before, "I'm not Yangtze Ocean's opponent." It turned out that it was true. It turned out that Deng Yichen was not Yangtze Ocean's opponent in one move. Although Deng Yichen was the chief disciple of Yanu College, there was still a big gap compared to Chenglong, who was at the 5th level of the Martial King. Even Chenglong was beaten like this by Yangtze Ocean, let alone Deng Yichen. The senior management of Shenhei College looked at Chenglong in the distance, shocked, and also had complicated feelings. After returning yesterday, they also severely reprimanded Cheng Sheng. Now, they finally understood why Cheng Sheng said Chenglong was an idiot. Yang Shen. As everyone was shocked, suddenly, a student from the Sword Academy shouted. More and more people shouted. The sound continued, and it took a long time to calm down. Yang Cheo looked at Yangtze Ocean on the stage, his hands shaking with excitement. This child called Yang Shen was his son. Huang Yang's eyes were also filled with tears. After a while, the referee announced that Yangtze Ocean won amid the excited shouts of the crowd. The competition continued. After the first game was over, the second game began. In the second game, Yangtze Ocean drew number 2. Seeing that he drew number 2 again, Yangtze Ocean shook his head and smiled. It seemed that he and number 2 were quite predestined in this college competition. He drew number 2 many times. Seeing that Yangtze Ocean drew number 2, everyone couldn't help but look at the number drawn in their hands. When Chen Zihan saw the number in her hand, her pretty face instantly turned pale and bloodless, and the whole person was like entering the 9-cold prison. The number in her hand was surprisingly number 2. Yesterday, she had been looking forward to drawing Yangtze Ocean today, but now, when she looked at the number in her hand, she actually had a sense of fear in her eyes, as if the number in her hand was a death warrant from hell. Seeing that Chen Zihan drew number 2, all the participating disciples looked at Chen Zihan with pity. Yangtze Ocean walked to the number 2 ring, stood on the ring, and looked at Chen Zihan. Almost everyone was looking at Chen Zihan. Chen Zihan walked to the number 2 ring with difficulty. She didn't know how she walked to the number 2 ring. Until the competition started, she was still unconscious. Yangtze Ocean walked towards Chen Zihan. Chen Zihan looked at Yangtze Ocean who was walking towards her. Her pretty face was horrified, and she couldn't help but step back. She was about to open her mouth to admit defeat, but suddenly Yangtze Ocean flashed and came to her. Yangtze Ocean punched out. The fist force roared again. Boom. The shuriken hit her belly. Chen Zihan shot backwards, and like Chenglong before, fell hard to the edge of the palace square. The square shook. Shuri power continued to destroy her internal organs. Chen Zihan's pretty face was deformed in pain. She opened her mouth and spurted out large mouthfuls of blood. In addition to blood, there was also green bile. Yang Xiaoshan looked at this woman coldly. Before today's competition, rumors spread all over the royal city that he had bribed Cheng Sheng and Deng Yichen, and the initiators were this woman and Qinglong. Everyone shook their heads as they looked at Chen Zhen, who was blown away. Not surprisingly, Yang Xiaoshan won the second game. Then, it was the third and fourth games. Yang Xiaoshan successfully entered the top 10. In addition to Yang Xiaoshan, the top 10 also included the Son of Thunder, Chen Heilin, and Cheng Wu. Among the other 9 people, 5 were destroyed by Yang Xiaoshan's fists in the Demon Land. After 2 more rounds of competition, the top 3 were Yang Xiaoshan, the Son of Thunder, and Chen Heilin. Next, it was Yang Xiaoshan who fought against the Son of Thunder and Chen Heilin. Originally, everyone was expecting the Son of Thunder to have a big fight with Yang Xiaoshan, but the Son of Thunder and Chen Heilin both admitted defeat when they met Yang Xiaoshan. Everyone was somewhat disappointed. In the end, Yang Xiaoshan won the first place in this Sea God National Academy competition. Looking at Yang Xiaoshan, everyone was sighing. Who would have thought that the first place in this Sea God National Academy competition would be Yang Xiaoshan? Yang Xiaoshan received the reward from Qin Kai, the king of Sea God. When Qin Kai wanted to confer the title of Baron on him, Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and refused. What title? For him, is meaningless. And having a title may not be a good thing. Chen Kai frowned when he saw Yang Xiaoshan refuse the title, but he did not force it in the end. This Sea God National Academy competition finally ended. The strong men from all sides left with strange feelings. Yang Xiaoshan and everyone returned to the branch courtyard of the Divine Sword Academy. The branch courtyard of the Divine Sword Academy was full of joy. At the banquet, Lin Yang, the dean of the Divine Sword Academy, even happily performed a set of swordsmanship for everyone. The sword energy danced wildly, and Lin Yang, an old man, turned into a young man. It was late at night. After the banquet, Yang Xiaoshan stood in the yard thinking about the future. It was still 3 months before Xiandao Academy started recruiting students. Although he could pass the Xiandao Academy assessment with his current strength, he could not relax in the next 3 months. After all, he would face the masters of 46 kingdoms. The next day, Chen Kai summoned Yang Chao and Huang Ying to the palace, and conferred the title of Duke and the First Class Lady on them. Yang Xiaoshan stayed in Wangcheng with his parents for 2 days, before returning to Shenzhen City with everyone. Originally, Yang Xiaoshan wanted to meet Wen Jinggai, but he didn't go in the end. After returning to Shenzhen City, Yang Xiaoshan continued to practice swordsmanship, supreme magical power and the dragon art. At the same time, he practiced the supreme magical power yellow spring magic hand that he got from Fishan Yaksha Yaoxu. In addition, he refined the steel forks and broadswords of Yaoxu and others into treasures and distributed them to his subordinates Luo King and Liao Kun. 10 days later, Yang Xiaoshan decided to set off for the Red Moon Forest to see if he could subdue 2 satisfied beasts and look for the Xian Lang sword treasure. Originally, Wu Qi, Luo King and others planned to follow Yang Xiaoshan, but Yang Xiaoshan decided to go alone. After all, he couldn't always rely on Wu Qi, Luo King and others for protection. And with his current strength, he already had the ability to protect himself. Chapter 127 Azure Thunder Python. That night, Yang Xiaoshan went to the Red Moon Forest. After leaving, Luo King, Liao Kun, Atali and others followed Yang Xiaoshan's instructions and led their 1,000 slaves to the Red Moon Forest to hunt monsters. In the past few months, although the strength of Yang Xiaoshan's slaves has been constantly improving, there has been no actual combat, so Yang Xiaoshan asked Luo King and others to take everyone to the Red Moon Forest for training, and they had to train hard for 2 months. A few days later, Yang Xiaoshan entered the Red Moon Forest and began to search for a suitable mount. Monsters, like human martial spirits, are also divided into levels. Martial spirits have levels 1 to 10, and above level 10 are super martial spirits and supreme martial spirits. And monsters are also divided into levels 1 to 10 according to the strength of their bloodlines, and above level 10 are king beasts, divine beasts, and super divine beasts. Not long after entering the Red Moon Forest, Yang Xiaoshan encountered a group of wolf beasts. There are many types of wolf beasts, including heavenly wolves, howling heavenly wolves, blood wolves, and silver moon wolf kings. The wolf beasts he encountered were the heavenly wolf. The heavenly wolf moved like the wind and had strong attacks. It was a level 7 demon beast. Although a level 7 demon beast was considered a high level demon beast, it did not meet Yang Ocean's requirements. Yang Ocean directly punched the heavenly wolf and flew away. Yang Ocean continued to walk into the Red Moon Forest. Later, he encountered a red-tailed scorpion. The red-tailed scorpion was not small in size and had strong blood, which was higher than the heavenly wolf. It was a level 7 high-level demon beast. However, it still did not meet Yang Ocean's requirements. Yang Ocean used a sword to directly blast it through. Yang Ocean continued to go deeper. A day passed quickly. As night fell, Yang Ocean sat cross-legged on a big tree to meditate and rest. Although there were many demon beasts encountered today, they were generally intermediate demon beasts, with the highest being level 7. However, this was the outskirts of the Red Moon Forest, so it was normal that there were no demon beasts above level 8. The next day, Yang Ocean continued to go deeper. As he went deeper, the demon beasts he encountered gradually became stronger, and there were even demon beasts at the King of Martial Arts level. However, generally there are only level 8 and level 9 bloodline monsters. There are not even level 10 bloodline monsters, let alone king bloodline monsters. Although the Red Moon Forest is a breeding ground for monsters, there are no spiritual veins here, and it is difficult to attract king beasts and divine beasts. It is difficult for you to find a king beast or divine beast here, Yaoding said, unless you go to other places. Other places? Yang Ocean smiled bitterly. Although there are several places where monsters breed in the Dragon Empire, they are not within the territory of the Xiandao Empire. They are too far away. It takes more than 3 months to go there and back. Yaoding thought for a while and asked, is there any forbidden area in the Red Moon Forest? Forbidden area? Yang Ocean said, there are a few. One is the Xianji cave they went to before, one is the Thunder Lake, and one is the volcano. These 3 places are extremely dangerous, and even the strongest people in the Xiandao Empire dare not go deep into them. Let's go to the Thunder Lake first. Yaoding thought for a while and said, Thunder Lake? Yang Ocean frowned. It is rumored that the Thunder Lake is full of various thunder powers, even heavenly thunder, and even the Emperor realm dare not approach it. However, since the medicine cauldron opened his mouth, Yang Ocean was relieved and headed towards the Thunder Lake. The Thunder Lake was far away from where he was, and he arrived several days later. From a distance, he saw the lightning flashing in front of him, and there were various thunders everywhere, including heavenly thunder, purple fire thunder, Yewood thunder, and 5-color thunder. Although they were far apart, Yang Ocean could still feel the horror of these thunder powers. Just as Yang Ocean was about to approach the Thunder Lake suddenly fluctuated violently, and the amazing thunder power poured out, and the entire Thunder Lake became violent and uneasy. Looking at the various thunder powers surging out like a tide, Yang Ocean retreated in shock. However, as he kept retreating, the Thunder Lake became more violent, and the thunder power continued to pour out. Yang Ocean retreated again and again. Finally, when Yang Ocean retreated far enough, suddenly, there was a loud explosion on the surface of Lei Lake. A monster as big as a mountain slowly flew up from the bottom of Lei Lake and finally hovered over Lei Lake. Looking at the monster as big as a mountain with lightning all over its body hovering over Lei Lake, Yang Ocean was shocked. Is this the Sky Blue Thunder Python? Sky Blue Thunder Python, an ancient beast. It is the descendant of the ancient Sky Python and Thunder Dragon. It has the blood of Sky Python and Thunder Dragon. Yes, it is the Sky Blue Thunder Python, Yaoding said, and judging from its aura, it is about to pass the Divine Tribulation. Pass the Divine Tribulation. Yang Ocean was stunned. Doesn't that mean that this Sky Blue Thunder Python is going to achieve the Divine Realm? Humans and monsters pass the Divine Tribulation and successfully become martial gods, which is the so-called Divine Realm. However, this Sky Blue Thunder Python has an old injury to its demon pill, and its foundation is not very solid. This time, the chance of passing the Divine Tribulation is not very high. Yaoding shook his head. Seeing that Master Ding could even tell that the opponent's demon pill had old injuries, Yang Xiaoshan asked, "Isn't this Azure Thunder Python in danger? What are the chances of it surviving the divine tribulation?" "Only 50%. Yao Ding said 50%. In other words, there is only a 50% chance of success. Once the tribulation fails, the Azure Thunder Python in front of him will end up dead. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a divine beast like the Azure Thunder Python to survive the divine tribulation. You must watch carefully later, which will help you survive the divine tribulation in the future," Yao Ding said. Yang Xiaoshan nodded. However, considering the terrifying power of the tribulation thunder, Yang Xiaoshan retreated to the position designated by Yao Ding, and then stopped. As soon as Yang Xiaoshan stopped, he saw that the Azure Thunder Python was full of lightning, and countless thunder powers in the Thunder Lake were flying around it. Above the Red Moon Forest, the sky suddenly darkened, and a huge black cloud condensed in the blink of an eye. In the black cloud, lightning flashed, and soon, the lightning spread, and an astonishing pressure enveloped it. Even though Yang Xiaoshan was far enough away from the Azure Thunder Python, he still felt suffocated, and had difficulty breathing under this amazing pressure. "This is the power of heaven," Yao Ding said. "Fortunately, you have broken through the Martial King realm, otherwise, you would be standing here, and fainted under the pressure of heaven. You should feel the power of heaven. It is good for your soul and spirit." Yang Xiaoshan nodded, facing the power of heaven, feeling the power of heaven and earth contained in heaven. Seeing that the power of the high altitude thunder was getting stronger and stronger, the Azure Thunder Python above the Thunder Lake also looked extremely solemn, and its dragon scales began to shrink. Every time it shrank, the lightning on its body became stronger. Just as the Azure Thunder Python was constantly strengthening its defense and strength, suddenly, with a buzzing sound, the light of the thunder above the 9 heavens exploded, and an amazing column of thunder light fell down, hitting the Azure Thunder Python with terrifying speed and terrifying power. Although the buzzing sound was not loud, it seemed to drill into the depths of Yang Xiaoshan's soul, causing his soul to tremble uncontrollably, and the Sky Blue Thunder Python's mind was exploding even more. Chapter 128 Dying. This is the power of heavenly might. It hits the soul directly. It shakes the deepest part of the soul. Just as the mind of the Azure Thunder Python exploded, and the soul was shaking, the lightning pillar had already hit the sky above its head. The Azure Thunder Python's face changed drastically, and it roared to the sky. It suddenly slapped its palms with all its strength. The power of these palms condensed the strength of its whole body, which was its full strength attack. With its full strength attack, the countless thunder power of the Thunder Lake also turned into a huge river, which hit the lightning pillar. Boom. The power of the Azure Thunder Python's palms, the power of the Thunder Lake, and the lightning pillar collided together. The world shook. The terrifying airwave swept around for an unknown number of miles. The towering ancient trees around were lifted up. Some monsters that could not dodge in time were all splashed away, like splashed water drops. Under the power of the heavenly tribulation, these monsters that are usually powerful are so fragile. Even Yang Xiaoshan, who had retreated again and again, was almost thrown away by the amazing airwave. Fortunately, Yang Xiaoshan had already circulated his true essence to protect his body, and his legs were inserted into the ground. Even so, Yang Xiaoshan was still shaken by the impact. Yang Xiaoshan's strong true essence was even more broken by the impact of the airwave. You know, Yang Xiaoshan practiced the most advanced technique of the ancient dragon clan, the dragon art, and condensed the strongest dragon true essence of the dragon clan, but it was still fragile in front of this airwave. And this is only a small part of the power of the aftermath of the heavenly tribulation. Yang Xiaoshan resisted the impact of the aftermath of the airwave, and felt pain all over his body. Thinking back to the scene just now, he still felt palpitations. These days, he insisted on swallowing the heavenly tribulation thunder water every day to practice, temper his internal organs, and strengthen his body. However, under the bombardment of the airwave just now, he felt like his whole body was about to fall apart. The horror of the heavenly tribulation is like this. If a small part of the power of the aftermath of the heavenly tribulation is like this, then you can imagine how strong the power of the heavenly tribulation that the Sky Blue Thunder Python faces is. Yang Xiaoshan couldn't help but look in the direction of the Thunder Lake. A huge hole was blasted out in the center of the 100-mile-wide Thunder Lake. The countless thunders that originally gathered in the Thunder Lake were blown into pieces. The entire Thunder Lake was devastated beyond imagination, and the Azure Thunder Python had disappeared. Yang Ocean's heart skipped a beat. Could the Azure Thunder Python have been killed by the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder just now? The power of the Heavenly Tribulation was so terrifying that it was not impossible for it to be destroyed. Just as Yang Ocean was thinking this, the surface of the Thunder Lake shook, and a giant beast slowly flew out. It was the Azure Thunder Python. Apparently, it had just been hit by the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder, and the Azure Thunder Python was blasted into the bottom of the Thunder Lake. The Azure Thunder Python reappeared, and its originally bright dragon scales were grey and dull, and many places were charred black. Its entire body was severely injured in many places. Just when Yang Ocean thought that the Azure Thunder Python had finally survived the divine tribulation, the voice of the medicine cauldron sounded. It's still early. It was just an appetizer. Appetizer? Yang Ocean was stunned. Suddenly, the thunder clouds that had dispersed in the sky gathered again. Yang Ocean was shocked. Could it be? Do you think the divine tribulation is so easy to overcome? The next tribulation thunder will be twice as strong as the previous one. Yaoding said. Twice as strong. Yang Ocean was terrified when he heard it. He had already felt the horror of the thunder just now. If it was twice as strong, how terrifying would it be? The Azure Thunder Python was already injured in the thunder tribulation just now. Can it withstand the next one? How many times will the divine tribulation end? Yang Ocean asked. For a divine beast like this, the divine tribulation that usually needs to be overcome is a tribulation of 3 thunders. Yaoding said. 3 thunders. It has already endured 1 thunder just now, so there are 2 more thunders to come. And the last thunderbolt is the strongest. Yaoding said. So I said, it's difficult for the Sky Blue Thunder Python to successfully survive the divine tribulation. According to its current condition, if nothing unexpected happens, it can only survive the first 2 thunderbolts. At this time, the thunder clouds above the 9 heavens grew at a terrifying speed. Every time they grew, the lightning power in the thunder clouds became stronger. The terrifying power of heaven enveloped the Thunder Lake and the area around it. The power of heaven was terrifying enough just now, and this time it was even stronger than before. Yang Ocean felt that his whole body was pressed down by a mountain and he couldn't breathe at all. Just when Yang Ocean was about to retreat, Yaoding said, don't retreat. Circulate the dragon essence, and keep your mind tight. Yang Ocean followed his words, and kept his mind tight. He circulated the dragon essence with all his strength. A stream of true essence dragons wrapped around Yang Ocean's body, and a dragon's might spread. As if sensing the dragon's might on Yang Ocean, the power of heaven became stronger and stronger. But Yang Ocean always insisted on not retreating, and the dragon's might on his body became stronger and stronger. Suddenly, the thunderbolt of the 9 heavens struck again. The world was bright. The amazing lightning column rotated instantly and reached the top of the Azure Thunder Python. This time, the lightning column was thicker, the lightning was stronger, and the speed was faster. When the thunder struck, the Azure Thunder Python's mind exploded, and its soul was turbulent. But this time, it was well prepared. When the thunder struck, it opened its mouth and sprayed out a huge thunder hammer. This huge thunder hammer, with lightning spraying, was so powerful that it seemed to blast through the sky. Divine weapon. Yang Ocean blurted out when he saw the huge thunder hammer. Yaoding was surprised. I didn't expect this Azure Thunder Python to have a divine weapon. The power of the divine weapon is not comparable to those holy weapons and imperial weapons. The thunder hammer sprayed heavy lightning and collided with the heavenly thunder column. A loud noise spread for countless miles. The thunder hammer was blown away. Heavy airwaves covered the sky. The ground was lifted up layer by layer. A tsunami-like airwaves bombarded Yang Ocean. Yang Ocean once again strengthened the true dragon essence. Even so, when the airwave rushed over, Yang Ocean was still blasted into the air, and his clothes were directly blown up. Yang Ocean fell straight and flew hundreds of meters away. After landing on the ground, he continued to retreat and retreated dozens of steps before stopping. Yang Ocean felt that his internal organs were turned upside down and his whole body fell apart. The sky blue thunder python was blasted into the thunder lake again by the thunder column. The hole in the thunder lake was blasted and expanded. The entire thunder lake was torn into pieces. For a long time, the sky blue thunder python did not fly out. At this time, the thunder clouds above the 9 heavens gathered again. This time, they condensed faster and blasted down to the sky blue thunder python at the bottom of the thunder lake again. The sky blue thunder python wanted to use the thunder hammer, but it was too late. It opened its mouth and a shocking roar sounded, and countless thunder notes flew out. It was the innate magical power of the sky blue thunder python. At the same time, a piece of armor appeared on the sky blue thunder python. This armor was so powerful that it covered its entire body. It was another artifact. Boom. The 9 heavens tribulation thunder blasted open the sky blue thunder python's innate magical power and blasted it. There was a loud bang that shook the sky. The divine armor on the sky blue thunder python was blown apart. The thunder lake was completely blasted apart and disappeared. The sky blue thunder python lay at the bottom of the hole, dying. Survived? Yangtze Ocean looked at the dying sky blue thunder python. Relying on the divine armor, the sky blue thunder python saved its last breath. Just as Yangtze Ocean was about to go over, he heard a sound of breaking through the air, and a figure crossed the sky at an extremely fast speed, and arrived above the thunder lake in the blink of an eye. Seeing this figure, Yangtze Ocean's whole body tensed up, and dared not move. What is this? The peak of the martial saint. Tomorrow's 3 updates. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129 Finally Rescued. Below the martial god is the martial saint. Yangtze Ocean did not expect that just after the Azure Thunder Python had passed the divine tribulation, a martial saint peaked and arrived. And it seemed that the other party had been waiting around for a long time, not just passing by chance. Yangtze Ocean guessed correctly. The person who came had been waiting around for a long time. Azure Thunder Python looked at the person and his face changed. ZH Jing. ZH Jing stood in the air, looking down at the Azure Thunder Python lying on the ground and dying, and smiled. Old Python, an old friend came to see you. There is no need to look like that. The two of them were old acquaintances. 100 years ago, ZH Jing came to Lei Lake to take the treasure of Lei Lake, and was injured by the Azure Thunder Python. Before that, ZH Jing came several times, but each time he fled with injuries. Azure Thunder Python looked at ZH Jing, and his heart sank. If it was before, it would naturally not be afraid of the other party, but now, it had just passed the divine tribulation, and was severely injured again. It looked at the divine armor not far away. It was bombarded by the power of the heavenly tribulation just now, and even its divine armor had been blown into pieces. Seeing the look on the Azure Thunder Python's face, ZH Jing smiled and said, "Old Python, do you think you can still escape? Don't worry, for the sake of our old friend, I will treat your flesh and blood well." At this point, he looked at the Azure Thunder Python's body with greedy eyes, without hiding it. Azure Thunder Python is an ancient divine beast. Its body is full of treasures. Its blood, even if it is not as good as dragon blood, has half the effect of dragon blood. Its demon pill can be used to refine pills, to help him break through the realm of martial god. Its python soul can also be refined into weapons or armor, to enhance the power of weapons and armor. Moreover, at the bottom of the Thunder Lake, there is a treasure that he has always coveted. Seeing the other party staring at his body greedily, the Azure Thunder Python's eyes turned cold. ZH Jing, do you really think I have no power to fight back? Even if I die, I can drag you down with me. When he said this, lightning surged all over his body, and an amazing breath swept across the world. The parts of the Azure Thunder Python that were destroyed by the thunder began to slowly heal. Thunder Dragon Heian technique. ZH Jing was surprised to see this. The Thunder Dragon Heian technique is the innate magical power of the Thunder Dragon clan. After performing it, it can heal injuries. However, ZH Jing was not panicked. Although the Thunder Dragon Heian technique can heal injuries, it also takes time. With the Azure Thunder Python's injuries, it will take at least several months to fully recover. He had a long sword in his hand. This long sword was snow white. After it was summoned, snowflakes appeared in the surrounding space. Heavenly Sword Lengayu. The Azure Thunder Python said in a deep voice. The sword in ZHU Jing's hand was one of the heavenly swords, Lengayu. It ranked 73rd on the heavenly sword list. Yes, the heavenly sword Cold Moon. ZHU Jing poured his holy power into the Cold Moon sword in his hand, and suddenly, the sword light of the Cold Moon sword burst out, and the sword light alone was 100 feet long. Affected by the sword light, the ground continued to freeze. Snowflakes fell from the sky. The chill rushed towards Yangtze Ocean. Even though Yangtze Ocean had the dragon essence to protect his body, he still felt the chill in his heart. ZHU Jing looked at the sky blue thunder python, and suddenly jumped up again, and slashed in the air. The terrifying sword energy was like a waterfall from the sky, pouring down on the sky blue thunder python. The world seemed to be split in half by this terrifying sword energy. Suddenly, the sky blue thunder python flew up like a swimming dragon, dodging the cold moon sword energy one by one, and came to the sky, slapping out with dragon claws as big as a hill. Suddenly, claw marks as big as a mountain broke through the air. ZHU Jing looked at the claw marks coming through the air, and he was not in a hurry. He slashed the claw marks of the Azure Thunder Python with the cold moon sword in his hand. Then, hundreds of cold moon swords appeared around his body. Hundreds of cold moon swords, all of which were exactly the same, and they were physical. Yangtze Ocean saw it, and his eyes focused. Sword intention. After the swordsmanship reaches the pinnacle, it goes one step further, that is, sword intention. Sword intention goes one step further, it is sword intention incarnation. Obviously, ZHU Jing has reached the point where sword intention incarnation. Hundreds of cold moon swords are the transformation of his sword intention. Looking at the battle between a man and a beast in the sky, Yangtze Ocean asked, Master Ding, who do you think will win? It's hard to say. Yao Ding said. Yangtze Ocean was surprised. Originally, he thought Master Ding would say it was ZHU Jing. After all, the Azure Thunder Python had just passed the Divine Tribulation and was severely injured by the Heavenly Tribulation. Yangtze Ocean watched the Azure Thunder Python and ZHU Jing fight carefully. ZHU Jing's sword spirit took shape, and it was extremely powerful. The sky was full of sword energy, and wherever his thoughts went, the sword energy went, which was extremely powerful. The Azure Thunder Python's attack was not as fierce as ZHU Jing's, but every blow could just break ZHU Jing's sword energy, and its scales were extremely defensive. Although ZHU Jing's sword energy hit its body, it was not enough to give it a fatal blow. The Azure Thunder Python seemed to be dying, but it could not die. As time went on, ZHU Jing became more and more annoyed. Suddenly, his whole body was submerged in sword energy, and he turned his body into a sword, driving the sword energy in the sky to bombard the Thunder Python. Old Python, take my Wuji sword. The sword energy in the sky instantly bombarded in front of the Thunder Python. Seeing this, the Thunder Python's eyes were fierce. Dragon Thunder Cloud. Suddenly, a cloud shaped like a dragon appeared above the 9 heavens, and the cloud was gushing with thunder energy. The terrifying thunder energy bombarded down crazily, instantly submerging ZHU Jing's sword energy in the sky. However, at the moment when ZHU Jing's sword energy was submerged, it all hit the lower part of the head of the Azure Thunder Python. That was the reverse scale of the Dragon Clan or the descendants of the Dragon Clan, and it was also the weakest point of defense. With a muffled sound, ZHU Jing and the Azure Thunder Python flew backwards at the same time. ZHU Jing spit out a large mouthful of blood and fell heavily on the distant mountain peak, causing the mountain to collapse. The Azure Thunder Python knocked away countless ancient trees. ZHU Jing wanted to get up, but he felt pain all over his body. He looked at the direction of the Azure Thunder Python in shock and anger. In the end, he could only fly away unwillingly and disappeared in the sky in the blink of an eye. The Azure Thunder Python struggled to get up and stared at ZHU Jing's figure disappearing. After confirming that the other party had left, it could no longer support itself and fell to the ground with a bang. The sand waves on the ground rolled and did not calm down for a long time. After a long time, seeing that the Azure Thunder Python was no longer moving, Yangtze Ocean came to the Thunder Python. he saw that the thunder python was completely motionless, and even when he approached, he could no longer open his eyes. It still has a few breaths left in its heart, but it's not far from death, Yaoding said. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. The Azure Thunder Python was seriously injured. Fortunately, it had the blood of the ancient Azure Python and Thunder Dragon, otherwise it would have died. After thinking about it, he took out a top-grade immortality pill, mixed it with the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water and let the Azure Thunder Python swallow it. Seeing that the Azure Thunder Python still had no improvement, Yang Xiaoshan took out another top-grade immortality pill, mixed it with the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water and let it swallow it. This time, the strength of the Azure Thunder Python's heart pulse was obviously much stronger. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshan took out another top-grade immortality pill and let it swallow it. After feeding it 10 top-grade immortality pills in a row, the Azure Thunder Python's heart pulse finally returned to normal. Yang Xiaoshan breathed a sigh of relief. The life of the Azure Thunder Python was saved. Chapter 130 Ice Flame Kirin. Although the Azure Thunder Python's heart had stabilized, and its life was saved, it was still sleeping there. Looking at the Azure Thunder Python sleeping there, Yang Xiaoshan cut his finger and a drop of blood flew out. Then, Yang Xiaoshan silently chanted a complicated spell, and then moved his hands to construct a blood rune with this drop of blood. The blood rune began to penetrate into the Thunder Python's forehead. Then it entered the depths of the Thunder Python's mind. This is the blood sacrifice technique. Suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan and the Azure Thunder Python felt that their hearts were connected. After doing all this, Yang Xiaoshan put the Azure Thunder Python into the medicine cauldron. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was about to leave, the medicine cauldron said, "There is something at the bottom of the Thunder Lake." Something else? Seeing that Master Ding had specifically reminded him, Yang Xiaoshan thought that the thing at the bottom of the Thunder Lake must be something special. He flew to the sky above the Thunder Lake, then broke through the surface of the lake, and went down to the bottom. Bombarded by the power of the Heavenly Tribulation, a terrifying hole was blasted out under the bottom of the lake, which was bottomless. Yang Xiaoshan took a quick look, but didn't see any treasures under the lake. 50 meters to the left, underground. Yaoding said, "Dig down." Yang Xiaoshan came to the left 50 meters in front, and summoned 100 treasured swords. The 100 swords formed a 5-meter cylindrical sword formation, rotating and bombarding continuously. Every rotation and bombardment brought up a lot of soil and rocks. After digging to the back, golden ore began to appear. Finally, the ore actually had liquid, and the liquid contained extremely strong thunder energy. Seeing the liquid, Yang Xiaoshan quickly stopped and said in surprise, "Thunder Yuan liquid? It's Thunder Yuan liquid." Yaoding said, "And it's all kinds of Thunder Yuan liquid." Thunder Yuan liquid is the most refined type of thunder energy condensed after years of changes in thunder power. This thing has similar effects to the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water, but the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water focuses on washing the tendons and marrow, while the Thunder Yuan liquid focuses on enhancing cultivation. Yang Xiaoshan quickly used a jade bottle to collect all the Thunder Yuan liquid deep in the golden stone. Although there is not much Thunder Yuan liquid here, there are still 300 or 400 drops, which is enough for Yang Xiaoshan to practice for a while. After collecting the Thunder Yuan liquid, Yang Xiaoshan made sure that there were no other treasures in the Thunder Lake before leaving. After leaving, Yang Xiaoshan found a hidden valley and swallowed a drop of Thunder Yuan liquid. Suddenly, his whole body felt numb and his internal organs felt extremely comfortable. Under the operation of his dragon art, the Thunder Yuan continued to transform into his Danshan Zen Yuan. After all the Thunder Yuan was refined, it was late at night. Yang Xiaoshan saw that the sky blue thunder python in the medicine cauldron had awakened and released it. The sky blue thunder python looked at the child in front of him and understood what was going on. After his face changed from cloudy to bright, his whole body changed and turned into a burly middle-aged man. After the monster becomes a god, it can change into a human form. Old Python greets the young master. The sky blue thunder python clasped his fists and said, "Thank you for saving me." He knew that, if it weren't for Yang Xiaoshan, he would have died long ago. No need to be polite. Yang Xiaoshan stood up and helped up the Azure Thunder Python, saying, "I know you are unwilling now, but many years later, you will feel that you have not lost out by following me." Just as the Azure Thunder Python was about to speak, suddenly, Yang Ocean's body was full of starlight and the flame of the stars flew out. The Azure Thunder Python looked at the flame of the stars on Yang Ocean and was surprised. The flame of the stars. If it was just the flame of the stars, he would not be surprised at the level of the god of war. But Yang Ocean, a child of 8 or 9 years old, was able to subdue the flame of the stars, ranked 73rd on the list of strange fires, which surprised him. Just as the Azure Thunder Python was surprised by the flame of the stars, suddenly, a phoenix cry resounded through the valley, and golden flames were seen covering the sky in the sky. The light of the golden flames actually completely covered the light of the flame of the stars. The Azure Thunder Python looked at the 9 phoenix flames that appeared behind Yang Ocean in shock and exclaimed, "9 phoenix golden flames." His face was full of disbelief. Yang Ocean, in front of him, not only subdued the star flame, which was ranked 73rd on the different fire list, but also subdued the 9 phoenix golden flame. The 9 phoenix golden flame is one of the top 10 different fires on the different fire list. Even if he has now broken through the realm of the martial god, he dare not say that he can subdue this kind of different fire that is ranked in the top 10 on the different fire list. How did Yang Ocean do something that even a martial god like him could not do? Then, Yang Ocean took out a top-grade immortality pill. Top-grade immortality pill. The Azure Thunder Python looked at the top-grade immortality pill in Yang Ocean's hand, and then looked at the 9 phoenix golden flame and the star flame behind Yang Ocean, and suddenly thought of a possibility. Could it be? Yes, this top-grade immortality pill was made by me personally. Yang Ocean said this, and flicked his finger, flicking the top-grade immortality pill in front of the Azure Thunder Python. Then he let the Azure Thunder Python swallow it. Although the Azure Thunder Python had awakened, it was too seriously injured, and had not fully recovered. Even if he swallowed the top-grade immortality pill every day, it would take 2 years for the Azure Thunder Python to fully recover from his injury, or even longer. Azure Thunder Python took the top-grade immortality pill, swallowed it, and then sat cross-legged on the ground, to refine the power of the immortality pill. "Thank you, young master." After a moment, Azure Thunder Python stood up and said gratefully. When he faced Yang Ocean again, he looked more awed. Yang Ocean said, "I came to the Red Moon Forest this time mainly to subdue the beast. Do you know that there are divine beasts or super divine beasts in the Red Moon Forest?" Azure Thunder Python thought for a moment and said, "There are no divine beasts, but there is a super divine beast." Super divine beast. Yang Ocean was surprised and delighted. "Yes, it's an ice flame Kirin." Azure Thunder Python said, "However, this ice flame Kirin is at the peak of the Saint Realm just like me, before I broke through. But its strength is stronger than mine." Yang Ocean was speechless. "It's stronger than Azure Thunder Python? How can it be subdued? Even if my injuries are completely healed, I may not be able to suppress this ice flame Kirin." The Azure Thunder Python said, "At most, I can only tie with it." In other words, even if the Ice Flame Kirin is at the peak of the Holy Realm, it can be comparable to the Azure Thunder Python in the Divine Realm. Is this Ice Flame Kirin so strong? Yang Ocean was immediately poured with a basin of cold water. "Yes, the Super Divine Beast is the supreme of heaven and earth." The Azure Thunder Python said, "Once the Super Divine Beast breaks through the Divine Realm, its strength will destroy the world. However, it is difficult for the Super Divine Beast to break through the Divine Realm. The Ice Flame Kirin has been stuck at the peak of the Holy Realm for thousands of years. Stuck at the peak of the Holy Realm for thousands of years." Yang Ocean opened his mouth. "Then is it possible that it will break through the Divine Realm soon? If the Ice Flame Kirin is about to break through the Divine Realm soon, that would be the weakest time." The Azure Thunder Python shook his head. "It should not break through within a few decades." Yang Ocean's hope was shattered. He asked Yaoding, and asked Dingyi, if he could suppress the Ice Flame Kirin. Dingyi smiled, and let Yang Ocean do it himself. Yang Ocean was sweating. Chapter 131 Girl Kinkson. "It's not that I don't want to help you. I was hit by a devastating blow and my divine essence was severely damaged." Yaoding said, "It's okay to protect you. You want me to take action against a super beast at the peak of the Holy Realm now. I must be tortured to death." Yaoding said this, and his tone suddenly changed. "But..." Yang Ocean was immediately refreshed when he heard but what? But, if you can help me find a few mouthfuls of 9-layer heavenly tribulation thunder water, with a few mouthfuls of 9-layer heavenly tribulation thunder water, I can withstand the torment. Yaoding said. Yang Zai Ocean smiled bitterly. He couldn't even find the 2nd layer heavenly tribulation thunder water, so where could he find the 9th layer heavenly tribulation thunder water? Yaoding also knew that it was almost impossible for Yang Zai Ocean to find the 9th layer heavenly tribulation thunder water, and said, if there is no 9th layer, the 6th layer will do. At least it must be above the 6th layer. 6th layer? Yang Zai Ocean was immediately excited when he heard it. He asked the Azure Thunder Python, Old Python, do you know where to find the 6th level or higher heavenly tribulation thunder water? Azure Thunder Python has lived for tens of thousands of years. Maybe he knows. But Azure Thunder Python was stunned for a long time, shook his head, and said he didn't know. Yang Zai Ocean was helpless. In this case, he could only slowly inquire. I don't know about the 6th level heavenly tribulation thunder water, but I know that there is the 4th level heavenly tribulation thunder water in the True Dragon Divine Sect. Azure Thunder Python said. Oh. Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. There is the 4th level heavenly tribulation thunder water in the True Dragon Divine Sect? In fact, it's not just the True Dragon Divine Sect. Most of the 10 super sects in our Shenlong Empire have the 4th level heavenly tribulation thunder water. Azure Thunder Python said, like the True Dragon Divine Sect, Furung Sword Sect, Kingsu Divine Sect, and Jiashan Palace. Yang Zai Ocean nodded. The 10 super sects of the Shenlong Empire are giants, and people have passed the divine tribulation in every generation. It is normal for them to collect heavenly tribulation thunder water over the years. The 4th level? Unfortunately, there is no 6th level. Finally, Yang Zai Ocean and the Azure Thunder Python wandered in the Red Moon Forest for another month. After failing to find another suitable beast to ride, Yang Zai Ocean had to return home. Considering the Azure Thunder Python's injuries, Yang Zai Ocean let it stay in the medicine cauldron to recuperate. At night, Yang Zai Ocean lit a bonfire, cooked barbecue, and drank his special wine. It was already November, and it was a bit cold. After drinking the wine, his whole body was warm. Just as Yang Zai Ocean was feasting, suddenly, there was a noise in the bushes in the distance, and then a little girl came out. The little girl looked about the same age as him, with a delicate face, beautiful eyes, and fair skin. She was a real little beauty. Yang Zai Ocean originally thought that there was a monster in the bushes, but he didn't expect that a cute little girl would come out. The material of the little girl's clothes was very rare, but there were a lot of bloodstains on the clothes, which were a bit dirty. These bloodstains should be from monsters. After the little girl came out, she stared at the barbecue on Yang Zai Ocean's campfire, swallowed, and said, "Little brother, can you give me some of your barbecue?" She was indeed hungry. She had been fighting monsters almost all day. The girl's voice was very pleasant, like pearls falling on a plate. Yang Zai Ocean smiled and said, "Sure, come and sit down." When the girl heard this, her jade carving face was delighted, and she quickly ran to the campfire and sat down obediently. Yang Zai Ocean took out a super treasure knife and cut a piece of barbecue big enough for the little girl. This super treasure knife was made by him just for the convenience of cutting barbecue sometimes. If Lin Yang, Chen Yuan and others were here, they would be heartbroken to see Yang Zai Ocean cutting barbecue with a super treasure knife. After the little girl took the barbecue, she said thank you sweetly to Yang Zai Ocean, and then picked up the barbecue and started eating. Although she was very hungry, the little girl ate slowly and well, and her eating manners were very beautiful. She tore the barbecue with her two little fingers, and then put it into her cherry mouth, chewing it slowly. Yang Zai Ocean started chatting with the little girl. Through chatting, he learned that the girl's name was Kingsun. The girl originally came to the Red Moon Forest with her elders, but was hit by the beast tide and dispersed. Beast tide. Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. Of course he knew the horror of the beast tide. The beast tide was not hundreds or thousands of monsters, but at least tens of thousands of monsters. "Little brother, what's your name?" Zio Kingsuan looked at Yang Zai Ocean with her beautiful eyes, curious. "Why are you alone in the Red Moon Forest? Did you get separated from your elders?" Yang Zai Ocean smiled. "That's not the case. I came in alone to subdue the beast. My name is Yang Zai Ocean." Zio Kingsuan glared. You came into the Red Moon Forest alone to subdue the beast. In her heart, Yang Zio, a child, actually dared to come into the Red Moon Forest alone. This is too bold. Yang Zio nodded. It's not so easy to subdue a beast. Zio Kingsuan said, you need to understand the beast language and the blood sacrifice technique. Yang Zio smiled and stretched out his hand. On his palm was a sky blue thunder python that had shrunk countless times. This is what I just subdued. Zio Kingsuan was surprised and then smiled sweetly. This little green python is the beast you subdued. It's so cute. Is it sleeping? Having said that, she stretched out her slender jade finger and poked the sky blue thunder python. The sky blue thunder python trembled all over after being poked by Zio Kingsuan. Seeing this, Zio Kingsuan giggled. Look, it's trembling. Is it shy? Shy? The sky blue thunder python rolled its eyes. Zio Kingsuan giggled even more. The firelight illuminated Zio Kingsuan's face, which was very bright and beautiful. When Zio Kingsuan smiled, her beautiful eyes were curved like Wenjing. But unlike Wenjing was charming and charming, while Zio Kingsuan was pure and lovely. At the same time, Zio Kingsuan had a different temperament, like a holy moon. After teasing the Azure Thunder Python for a while, Zio Kingsuan suddenly said, Brother Zio, I didn't expect you to know the beast language and blood sacrifice. The beast language is so difficult to learn. My teacher taught me, but I always couldn't learn it. Yang Zio smiled and said, animal language is actually not difficult. It will be much easier, as long as you know the pronunciation skills. Then, Yang Zio began to teach Zio Kingsuan pronunciation skills. However, after learning pronunciation skills for an hour, Zio Kingsuan was sleepy and fell asleep. It was cold in the middle of the night, and seeing that the other party was curled up, Yang Zio took out a cloak and wrapped it around the other party. Mother, I will be obedient in the future. Please don't leave. Suddenly, Zio Kingsuan muttered in his dream, his face full of sadness. Looking at Zio Kingsuan, Yang Zio thought of his sister Yanglinga, who was in the True Dragon sect. I wonder if my sister is okay. After a night, the sky gradually brightened. Zio Kingsuan woke up. She returned the cloak to Yang Zio and smiled sweetly. Thank you, brother Zio. Yang Zio stood up and said, I'm going back to Shenhe Kingdom now. What about you? Zio Kingsuan thought for a while and said, then I'll go back to Shenhe Kingdom with you first. The Red Moon Forest was dangerous. She and her elders were lost and could not be contacted for a while. However, just as Yang Zio and Zio Kingsuan had walked a short distance, they saw a large group of strong men flying towards them. What surprised Yang Zio was that among this large group of strong men, there were actually strong men from the royal family of Xiandao Empire. In addition to the masters of the royal family of Xiandao, there were also masters of the royal family of Liuli Empire. Yang Zio roughly estimated that there were at least 7 or 8 masters of the royal family of the empire. After seeing Zio Kingsuan, this large group of strong men were all surprised and shouted in unison, Your Highness. Chapter 132 Feeling the power of the beast tide. Ting Xiandao, Liuli and other royal masters all called Zio Kingsuan Your Highness, and Yang Zio was shocked. Your Highness? Being called Your Highness by so many royal masters, Zio Kingsuan's identity is obvious. At this time, a middle-aged man led by the opposite party walked out and smiled at Zio Kingsuan. Kingsuan, I'm glad you're okay. Kingsuan's absence in the past few days has made them very anxious. Uncle Lan. Zio Kingsuan smiled kindly when she saw the middle-aged man. I was starving yesterday, and it was brother Zio who grilled meat for me. Then he said, the grilled meat he grilled was delicious. I have never eaten such delicious grilled meat. Brother Zio, grilled meat. The middle-aged man Long Lan looked at Yang Zio, surprised. It was the first time he saw his niece being so close to a child of the same age. Long Lan smiled at Yang Zio and said, Zio, thank you for taking care of Kingsuan yesterday. After hesitating for a moment, he took out a jade box and handed it to Yang Zio. As a thank you, this jade box is given to you by me. Xiandao, Liuli and other royal masters looked at the jade box, all of them envious of Yang Zio. Although they didn't know what was in the jade box, they knew Long Lan's identity. with Long Lan's identity. The gift he gave was absolutely amazing. Yang Xiaoshan looked at the jade box, but shook his head and said, "No, just a few pieces of barbecue." Long Lan was surprised and smiled. "Do you know what's in the jade box? The things in it are not ordinary things. Little guy, don't regret it." Yang Xiaoshan shook his head. "I have elixirs. I don't like them." He has a strong soul perception of the taste of elixirs and can judge that there is some kind of elixir in it. However, what he lacks the least is elixirs. When Long Lan heard Yang Xiaoshan say that he had no shortage of elixirs, he smiled slightly and did not force him. He put away the jade box and said to Xiao Kingsun, "Kingsun, shall we go back?" The things he had come to the Red Moon Forest for this time had been done. "Okay." Xiao Kingsun nodded obediently and then said to Yang Xiaoshan, "Brother Xiaoshan, you have to leave the Red Moon Forest too, so come with us." Yang Xiaoshan hesitated for a moment and nodded. Xiao Kingsun was very happy to see Yang Xiaoshan agree, and then he stepped forward and naturally took Yang Xiaoshan's hand. "Then let's go." Long Lan frowned when he saw Xiao Kingsun holding Yang Xiaoshan's hand, but in the end he said nothing. Xiandao, Liuli, Wuxiang Empire and other royal masters looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a look that was almost murderous. Half a day later, everyone left the Red Moon Forest. When they parted, Xiao Kingsun was reluctant to leave Yang Xiaoshan. "Brother Xiaoshan, will you come to the Shenlong Empire in the future? If you come to the Shenlong Empire, remember to come to the Shenlong Imperial Capital to see me. I will go to the Shenlong Imperial Capital in the future." Yang Xiaoshan nodded. If he participates in the True Dragon Sect assessment in the future, he will definitely go to the Shenlong Imperial Capital. When Xiao Kingsun heard that Yang Xiaoshan would come to the Shenlong Imperial Capital in the future, she burst into tears and laughed, and then gave Yang Xiaoshan a dragon-shaped jade pendant, asking Yang Xiaoshan to come to the Shenlong Imperial Capital to find her in the future. Finally, reluctantly, Long Lan took Xiao Kingsun away. When Xiandao, Liuli, Wuxiang Imperial Kingdom and other royal masters were about to follow, Long Lan said, "You don't have to follow." His tone was flat, but it was unquestionable. Xiandao, Liuli, Wuxiang Imperial Kingdom and other royal masters did not dare to object, and responded respectfully, and then bowed deeply, to send Long Lan and Xiao Kingsun off. After Long Lan and Xiao Kingsun disappeared in the sky, everyone dared to stand up. Xiao Yang, the eldest prince of the Xiandao royal family, turned around and his eyes fell on Yang Xiaoshan. He looked at the jade pendant in Yang Xiaoshan's hand, stretched out his hand and ordered, "Give me the jade pendant." Hearing the commanding tone of Xiao Yang, the eldest prince of the Xiandao royal family, Yang Xiaoshan's face was cold. "Give it to you?" Xiao Yang looked down at Yang Xiaoshan. "Boy, what is the status of Her Highness? And what is your status? You are a wild boy who came out of nowhere. Do you think you are qualified to hold her jade pendant? Her Highness's jade pendant is in your hands, which is simply a desecration of Her Highness's holy light." Liu Yuan, the eldest prince of the Wuxiang royal family, chuckled and said, "Xiao Yang, it's not appropriate to give this jade pendant to you. My Wuxiang royal family has a blood relationship with Her Highness." At this point, he looked at Yang Xiaoshan. "My dear friend Xiaoshan, give me this jade pendant." Then he took out a low-grade spirit stone from his arms and gave it to Yang Xiaoshan. "You know low-grade spirit stones. This low-grade spirit stone is for you." There is no doubt that he wanted to use a low-grade spirit stone in exchange for the jade pendant in Yang Xiaoshan's hand. "Oh, low-grade spiritual stone." Yang Xiaoshan shook his head when he saw that the eldest prince of the Wuxiang royal family, Liu Yuan, wanted to exchange a low-grade spiritual stone for his jade pendant. These people really thought that he was a country boy and really thought that he had never seen a low-grade spiritual stone. When Liu Yuan saw Yang Xiaoshan shaking his head, his eyes turned cold. Just as he was about to make a move, suddenly, the ground shook. A shocking sound came from the ground far away. The whole ground seemed to have been trampled countless times. "It's the beast tide." The faces of all the royal masters changed. "The beast tide is rushing in this direction. Let's go." At that moment, all the royal masters could no longer care about Yang Xiaoshan and fled in panic. Just when Yang Zai Ocean was about to leave, Yaoding said, "No, you haven't seen the beast tide anyway. Stand still and feel the power of the beasts in the beast tide. Facing the beast tide directly will do a lot of good to your mind. Face the beast tide directly." Yang Zai Ocean was stunned, and then he stood there motionless as Yaoding said, waiting for the beast tide to come. Soon, Yang Zai Ocean saw the rolling sand waves at the end of his sight. The sand waves rushed to the sky, sweeping the world and drowning everything. In the sand waves, all kinds of monsters were seen rushing forward madly. These monsters had amazing auras, and the weakest ones were actually kings. The beast tide was endless for many miles, and Yang Zai Ocean could not see the end at all. I'm afraid there were hundreds of thousands of them. Hundreds of thousands of monsters rushed madly at the same time, and that scene shocked Yang Zai Ocean's heart. Even though Yang Zai Ocean knew that there were medicine cauldrons and sky blue thunder pythons, he was nervous and his scalp was numb when he saw hundreds of thousands of monsters rushing towards him. The desperate battle between the sky blue thunder python and ZH Jing was shocking, but the hundreds of thousands of monsters in front of him were even more shocking. Hundreds of thousands of monsters gathered together and rushed together. The power of nature was beyond words. In Yang Zai Ocean's nervousness and shock, hundreds of thousands of monsters finally rushed hundreds of meters away. Although they were several hundred meters apart, a terrifying force and air wave had already rushed towards Yang Zai Ocean. Yang Zai Ocean frantically activated the dragon art. Suddenly, more than 100 true essence dragons broke out of his body and entangled around him. However, under the impact of the power of hundreds of thousands of monster beasts, more than 100 true essence dragons were instantly blown away. Just as the terrifying air wave was about to blow Yang Zai Ocean away, suddenly, a ray of light enveloped Yang Zai Ocean, which was the power of the medicine cauldron. At the same time, the breath of the King of Divine Beasts emanated from Yang Zai Ocean. Chapter 133. Aren't you planning to come out? This breath of the King of Divine Beasts was exactly the breath of the Azure Thunder Python. The Azure Thunder Python was the descendant of the ancient Sky Python and Thunder Dragon. It was not an ordinary divine beast. It was the king among divine beasts. In terms of bloodline, its bloodline was extremely close to that of super divine beasts. When the breath of the Azure Thunder Python, the king of divine beasts, was released, hundreds of thousands of monsters that rushed over frantically all avoided Yang Zai Ocean in shock. Yang Zai Ocean stood there, like the king of divine beasts, inviolable and unchallengeable. No matter how crazy the beasts were, they dared not to collide with Yang Zai Ocean. From a distance, Yang Zai Ocean's frail body was seen standing in the hundreds of thousands of beasts, unshakable. No matter how hundreds of thousands of monsters rushed over, he did not retreat at all. The sand waves rolled. However, the surging sand waves came 10 meters in front of Yang Zai Ocean, and were all blocked. A vacuum zone became around Yang Zai Ocean. The terrifying energy kept attacking Yang Zai Ocean, and was all separated by the light on Yang Zai Ocean's body. If Xiao Yang, Liuan and others who had just escaped saw this scene, they would probably drop their jaws. Even a martial master as strong as the Emperor Realm or even above the Emperor Realm would be crushed and trampled into pulp in the face of this beast tide. But Yang Zai Ocean stood there, not moving a bit, not hurt at all. Yang Zai Ocean looked at the powerful monsters that kept rushing towards him, and in his heart, he began to look directly at the power of these monsters, and the power of the hundreds of thousands of monsters. Hundreds of thousands of monsters trampled on the ground, and the dense vibration sound echoed in Yang Zai Ocean's ears again and again. Yang Zai Ocean stood there, constantly running the beginning dragon art, and an unyielding dragon power became stronger and stronger. For a moment, Yang Zai Ocean seemed to feel that he had become the ancestor of the dragon clan, looking down on all beasts and soaring in the sky. Even the sky blue thunder python, the king of all beasts, felt the power of the beginning dragon on Yang Zai Ocean and felt the throbbing of the soul, which was the throbbing of the soul from the beginning of heaven and earth. The beast tide was still rushing and rushing. However, the fear in Yang Zai Ocean's heart had gradually disappeared. After an unknown amount of time, the beast tide finally passed. Hundreds of thousands of demon beasts passed by Yang Zai Ocean and rushed forward. The rolling sand waves were still flying all over the sky. Yang Zai Ocean looked and saw that the ground in the direction of the beast tide had cracked and became much shorter. The entire ground seemed to have been plowed over and over again. The countless trees that were knocked down were trampled into powder. Looking at the devastated ground, Yang Xiaoshan took a deep breath and looked around. Except for the 10 meters around where he was standing, the rest of the place was completely unrecognizable. The surrounding ground was several meters shorter. Red Moon Forest. I'm afraid there is something unusual. The Azure Thunder Python looked deeply at the direction of the beast tide that was leaving crazily. Yang Xiaoshan also fell into deep thought. There are rarely beast tides in the Red Moon Forest, but the beast tides have occurred frequently recently, which is a bit abnormal. This beast tide is controlled by humans. The voice of the medicine cauldron sounded. Human. Generally speaking, only the beast god of the Red Moon Forest can control such a large beast tide. Is it that Ice Flame Kirin? Yang Xiaoshan asked. The Azure Thunder Python shook his head. It shouldn't be. Old Man Bing has been practicing hard in seclusion for many years and striving for the divine realm. It can't be him. And with his dull personality, he won't do such things. Suddenly, his face became solemn. Maybe, it's that one. That one. Yang Xiaoshan looked at the Azure Thunder Python. The Azure Thunder Python said, there has always been a powerful existence in the Red Moon Forest. Its strength is very likely to be higher than that of Old Bing and me. However, Old Bing and I have never seen each other and don't know its true form. Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. Stronger than the Azure Thunder Python and the Ice Flame Kirin? There is such a powerful existence in the Red Moon Forest. What surprised Yang Xiaoshan even more was that the Azure Thunder Python and the Ice Flame Kirin had never seen each other in the Red Moon Forest for so many years, and they didn't even know what the other's true form was. Looking at the direction where the beast tide left, Yang Xiaoshan pondered for a moment and then left the place. Considering the recent frequent beast tides and the danger of the Red Moon Forest, Yang Xiaoshan left and went to look for Luoking, Liu and others. He had previously asked Luoking, Liu and others to lead 1,000 slaves into the Red Moon Forest for 2 months of hard training. After calculating the time, Luoking, Liu and others should still be in the Red Moon Forest. Therefore, he had to find Luoking and others before the beast tide met Luoking and others. Not long after Yang Xiaoshan left the original place, Xiao Yang, Liu and others turned back. Everyone ventured back, naturally for the jade pendant in Yang Xiaoshan's hand. Back to the original place, everyone looked at the horrible scene that was destroyed, and they were all palpitating and cold. However, after searching for a circle, everyone did not find any traces of Yang Xiaoshan's body, let alone the jade pendant. That kid, should he still be alive? A Liuli royal family master judged. In this case, for fairness, whoever finds the kid, the jade pendant will belong to him. Qiandao's eldest prince Xiao Yang said, and then he left with his men. Wuxiang's eldest prince Liu Yuan also left in another direction with his men. Several other masters of the royal family also left, each looking for Yang Xiaoshan. After a long search, Yang Xiaoshan still couldn't find Luoking, Liu and others. One day, when Yang Xiaoshan was looking for Luoking, Liu and others, suddenly, several figures flew out of the air, landed in front of him, and stopped him. Yang Xiaoshan took a look and recognized that the other party was the guard of Xiao Yang, the eldest prince of the Qiandao royal family. After several people stopped Yang Xiaoshan, one of the guards said, "Boy, you made it difficult for us to find you." Then he stretched out his hand and said, "Hand over the jade pendant." "What if I don't hand it over?" Yang Xiaoshan's face was indifferent. On his arm, there was a small green python, which was the Shine King Thunder Python. Another guard smiled and said, "Don't hand it over? That's not up to you." He had a knife in his hand and walked towards Yang Xiaoshan. "When you grow up, you will understand that many things cannot be decided by the weak." After that, he swung the knife and casually slashed at Yang Xiaoshan. This guard was surprisingly a peak martial king. However, just as he raised his sword, the Azure Thunder Python suddenly opened its bloody mouth and rolled up. The guard at the peak of the martial king level only felt his eyes go dark before his eyes and was directly rolled into the bloody mouth of the Azure Thunder Python. The sudden change in front of them stunned the others. "You." They looked at Yang Xiaoshan and the Azure Thunder Python in horror. "You are right. There are many things that the weak cannot decide." Yang Xiaoshan's eyes were cold. The Azure Thunder Python opened its bloody mouth again and rolled them all away. The swords of several people fell to the ground with a clanging sound. Yang Xiaoshan turned his head and looked at the woods in the distance. "Aren't you going to come out? Or do you want me to invite you out?" He saw several people groping out of the woods in the distance with a look of fear on their faces. They were the eldest prince of the Wuxiang Empire, Liu Yuan, and several of his men. Tomorrow's 3 updates. Chapter 134 Xiandao Academy Enrollment. Liu Yuan looked at Yang Xiaoshan and the sky blue thunder python in Yang Xiaoshan's hand and forced himself to remain calm. He smiled and said, "I didn't expect that my little brother actually had such a powerful monster. I'm Liu Yuan, the eldest prince of the Wuxiang Empire. May I know your name?" Yang Xiaoshan walked towards Liu Yuan as if he had not heard anything. He certainly knew that Liu Yuan was using his identity as the eldest prince of the Wuxiang Empire to remind himself that if anything happened to him, the Wuxiang Empire would not let him go. When Yang Xiaoshan walked towards Liu Yuan, the sky blue thunder python flew out of his hand. In the eyes of Liu Yuan and others, the sky blue thunder python, which was only the size of a bamboo pole, began to grow larger and larger. With every step Yang Xiaoshan took, the sky blue thunder python grew several times larger. When Yang Xiaoshan walked out more than 10 steps, he saw that the sky blue thunder python, which was covered with lightning, was as big as a mountain. A breath of a divine beast as powerful as a prison enveloped the world. Liu Yuan and his friends were still hoping for luck, but when they saw the sky blue thunder python transformed into its true form, they were completely shocked. The king of divine beasts. Sky blue thunder python. Liu Yuan's voice trembled, his eyes full of fear. He knew that there was a king of divine beasts, sky blue thunder python, in the Red Moon Forest. But didn't the king of divine beasts, sky blue thunder python, stay in Lei Lake all year round? Now, it has become a child's pet? How could he not believe it? What on earth is going on? That is the king of divine beasts, sky blue thunder python, but it was subdued by someone else. And it was a child. At this time, Yang Xiaoshan came to Liu Yuan and his friends. Liu Yuan, right? Yang Xiaoshan looked at Liu Yuan. Yes. Liu Yuan said in horror, "I'm Liu Yuan." Yang Xiaoshan took out the jade pendant. "You said before that you would use a low-grade spirit stone to buy the jade pendant in my hand?" Liu Yuan cried, "My lord, spare my life." After saying that, he kowtowed and kept knocking on the ground. Several other guards around him knelt down and begged for mercy. At this time, Xiandao's eldest prince Xiao Yang could not find Yang Xiaoshan after searching for a while, and he couldn't help but get impatient. "Your Highness, there are frequent beast tides in the Red Moon Forest. Why don't we go back to the capital first?" Xiao Yang's guard said, "The Red Moon Forest is vast, and we don't have enough manpower. After we return to the capital, we will send more people to inquire and find that kid. Besides, Xiandao Academy is about to enroll students. The most important thing for your highness is to prepare for the assessment of Xiandao Academy." Xiao Yang thought about it and nodded, but he couldn't help but get angry when he thought of the child who made him search hard in the Red Moon Forest. He said, "When I find that kid, I will skin him alive." Then, Xiao Yang and his men left the Red Moon Forest. Not long after Xiao Yang and others left the Red Moon Forest, Yang Xiaoshan also left the Red Moon Forest after he couldn't find Liu King, Liu Kun and others. Originally, he entered the Red Moon Forest this time to look for the Xian Lang Sword treasure, but after Xian King Li Mang learned that the Xian Lang Sword treasure he was looking for was located in the Black Snow Mountain, he suggested that Yang Xiaoshan enter the Black Snow Mountain in March or April. Because the weather in the Black Snow Mountain is extremely bad at this time, the cold is overwhelming, and there are often black snowstorms, which are very dangerous. In March and April, affected by the weather, the black snowstorms in the Black Snow Mountain will weaken, and the cold will also decrease. Yang Xiaoshan followed the advice of Xian King Li Mang, and waited until March and April to enter the Black Snow Mountain. Moreover, the Black Snow Mountain is close to the Xiandao Empire. When he enters the Xiandao Academy, it will be more convenient to go to the Black Snow Mountain. As for the Wuxiang eldest prince Liu Yuan, Yang Xiaoshan did not kill him. Just like when he dealt with Jiang Yu, he let Liu Yuan swallow the control pill. Liu Yuan is the eldest prince of the Wuxiang Empire. Maybe he will inherit the throne in the future, which will be a great help to Yang Xiaoshan. It was a few days later when Yang Xiaoshan returned to Shenzhen City. After Yang Xiaoshan returned to Shenzhen City, the next day, Luo King, Liu Kun and others also led a group of slaves back to Shenzhen City. After returning this time, the slaves who had fought against the monsters for many days have changed a lot. Not only have their practical experience been greatly improved, but they are also not panicked or flustered when dealing with things. Ali and his companions, who have the blood of the ancient golden gods, have become generals. Not only have they broken through to the Martial King realm, but they have also reached the second level of Martial King a few days ago. Seeing the changes in Ali and others, Yang Xiaoshan was very happy. It seems that it is right to let Ali and others go to the Red Moon Forest for training. He decided to let Ali and others go to the Red Moon Forest for training several times every year. Only in this way can Ali and others grow quickly. 10 days passed. At this time, there was only half a month left before Xiandao Academy enrolled, and Yang Xiaoshan decided to set off for Xiandao Empire. Considering the long journey and the unknown road ahead, Yang Xiaoshan did not bring his parents this time. This time, he did not bring many people, only Wookiee, Liu and Liu, and the golden armored beast Xiaojin. Of course, there is also the sky blue thunder python. Before leaving, Yang Xiaoshan gave his parents and Luo King and others a lot of top grade 4 elephant elixirs. Originally, Lin Yang and Chen Yuan also wanted to follow Yang Xiaoshan, but Yang Xiaoshan refused. After all, many things in the Divine Sword Academy needed 2 people to handle. His trip to the Heavenly Dao Empire this time was not a matter of 1 or 2 days. But Chen Shanking, Helan and the other 5 people from the Sword Hall insisted on following Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan had no choice but to let the 5 people follow. So, everyone rode a black unicorn horse and headed to the imperial city of the Heavenly Dao Empire. The golden armored beast Xiaojin also rode one. Every time Yang Xiaoshan saw Xiaojin riding on the black unicorn horse, he wanted to laugh. In the past 2 months, the dragon horns on Xiaojin's forehead have become sharper, and the golden scales on his body are like flowing golden flames. The little guy, like Ali, has already broken through the king realm, and his strength is stronger than Ali. And Ali joined forces and barely tied with Xiaojin. Nothing happened along the way. 10 days later, everyone entered the imperial city of the Heavenly Dao Empire. As Xiandao Academy is about to enroll, masters from the 46 kingdoms of Shenhe Kingdom, Wuding Kingdom, and Gujian Kingdom are rushing here, so the imperial city of Xiandao Empire is overcrowded. The streets are filled with luxurious carriages of countless sects and families of the 46 kingdoms. Compared with these luxurious carriages, the black unicorn horses of Yang Xiaoshan and others seem a bit shabby. Chen Shanking looked at the luxurious carriages on the street and said to Yang Xiaoshan with a wry smile, "Palace Master, I'm afraid we will have to sleep on the street tonight." Although there are still 5 days before Xiandao Academy enrolls, judging from the current situation, the rooms in major restaurants are probably already crowded. Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, "We don't need to stay in restaurants, just buy a house directly. Anyway, after entering Xiandao Academy, you need to stay in Xiandao Imperial City for a long time, so it is better to buy a house directly, so that everyone can do things conveniently." Hearing Yang Xiaoshan say that he wants to buy a house directly, he grinned. Palace Master is still generous. Everyone laughed. So, Yang Xiaoshan led everyone to the largest real estate exchange in Xiandao Imperial City. However, when they arrived at the largest real estate exchange in the Imperial City, they saw Xiandao's eldest prince Xiaoyang coming out with his attendants and guards. Chapter 135 Xiandao will be the next dean. Xiaoyang had never expected to meet Yang Xiaoshan here. The two looked at each other. After a brief moment of astonishment, a smile gradually appeared on Xiaoyang's face. He said with a smile, "Boy, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here." At this point, he stretched out his hand and looked down at Yang Xiaoshan. "Where is the jade pendant? Hand it over." Xiaoyang's voice was very loud. Many people in the real estate transaction hall looked over. Whose child is this? He actually offended His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. While everyone around was whispering, Yang Xiaoshan took out the jade pendant. Thinking of what Xiao Yang said before in the Red Moon Forest, Yang Xiaoshan said, "Do you think you are qualified to hold this jade pendant? This jade pendant, if it is in the hands of an idiot like you, it will tarnish its holy light." Everyone in the hall was stunned. Even Xiao Yang was stunned. After a moment, Xiao Yang's face was gloomy. He stared at Yang Xiaoshan with his eyes fixed on him. "Boy, what did you say just now? If you didn't hear clearly, I can ask my men to say it again." Yang Xiaoshan ignored Xiao Yang's fierce eyes and said, "You are looking for death." Xiao Yang was furious. Xiao Yang's guards surrounded him. At this moment, a joking voice sounded, "Hey, isn't this the big brother? Big brother is so majestic. Who are you going to beat up so early in the morning?" Not far away, a young man who looked a bit like Xiao Yang came over with a group of guards. The person who came was Xiao Yang's second brother Xiaojin. However, the two have the same father and mother and have always had conflicts. When Xiao Yang saw Xiaojin, his face darkened and he said coldly, "Xiaojin, don't make trouble for no reason, otherwise I will deal with you too." Xiaojin heard this and smiled. "Then I want to see how you deal with me." Xiao Yang's eyes turned cold. At this time, a palace guard ran over from a distance and whispered to Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's face was gloomy and he left with a group of guards. Before leaving, he glared at Yang Xiaoshan. "Boy, you wait for me. Sooner or later I will let you know what will happen if you offend me." After Xiao Yang left, Xiaojin looked at the jade pendant in Yang Xiaoshan's hand and smiled at Yang Xiaoshan. "I'm Xiaojin, the second prince of Xiandao. I wonder what this little brother's name is?" Yang Xiaoshan also had no good impression of Xiaojin, who was smiling but not smiling. He ignored him and took Wu Qi, Chen Changqing and others into the real estate transaction hall. Xiaojin's smile froze. "Second prince, you helped this kid out, but he didn't even say a word of thanks, and he was so rude to you. He simply didn't know what was good for him." A guard behind Xiaojin said angrily. Xiaojin shook his hand and said to him, "Let someone find out which country and which family he is from, and also find out if the dragon-shaped jade pendant in his hand is a Cheyenne Lang pendant." Xiao Yang, Liu and others coveted the Cheyenne Lang pendant in Yang Xiaoshan's hand, of course, not just because the Cheyenne Lang pendant was Xiao Kingson's. The Cheyenne Lang pendant itself is a treasure, and wearing it on the body has many benefits for cultivation. That's why Xiao Yang, Liu and others are so concerned about the Cheyenne Lang pendant in Yang Xiaoshan's hand. After entering the house trading hall, Yang Xiaoshan called the person in charge out and then asked about the houses that were now being sold in the Imperial City. Finally, Yang Xiaoshan took a fancy to a house near Xiandao Academy. The house is very large, covering an area of 10 acres, and is good in all aspects, but the price is expensive, costing 5 million gold. Hearing the price, He and others were amazed. However, Yang Xiaoshan paid 5 million gold directly to buy the house. Xiaojin was not leaving yet, and was surprised to see that Yang Xiaoshan actually paid 5 million gold on the spot to buy the house. In fact, many people have taken a fancy to the house that Yang Xiaoshan bought, including him, but this house is too expensive. It has been listed in the real estate transaction hall for a year, and has never been sold. Seeing that Yang Xiaoshan paid 5 million, Xiaojin, who had not taken Yang Xiaoshan seriously, could not help but be suspicious. After Yang Xiaoshan left the real estate transaction hall, Xiaojin's men reported the results they had found out to Xiaojin one by one. "What? He is Yang Xiaoshan, the Yang god of the Sea of Gods?" Xiaojin was shocked to hear the result. Yes, he is Yang Xiaoshan, who is called the Yang god of the Sea of Gods. His men reported respectfully. After confirming Yang Xiaoshan's identity, Xiaojin frowned. "I didn't expect that this child was actually Yang Xiaoshan." The Cheyenne Lang pendant was on Yang Xiaoshan's hand. This is really troublesome. In the Shenhe National Academy competition, Yang Xiaoshan achieved the Martial King realm when he was less than 9 years old. Even Chenglong, who was at the 5th level of Martial King, was not his opponent. Such a monster even alarmed the elders of Xiandao Academy. It is rumored that, as long as Yang Xiaoshan passes the Xiandao Academy assessment, he will be trained as the next dean of Xiandao Academy. Although it is just a rumor, it may not be groundless. Therefore, when Xiao Jin learned that the Xianlang pendant was in Yang Xiaoshan's hands, he shook his head and had to give up the idea of robbing the Xianlang pendant. Not long after Xiao Jin learned about Yang Xiaoshan's identity, Xiao Yang also learned about Yang Xiaoshan's identity. It turned out to be him. Xiao Yang's eyes turned cold when he learned the result. His guards felt Xiao Yang's murderous intent and said hesitantly, "Your Highness, there are rumors that when Yang Xiaoshan enters Xiandao Academy intends to train him as the next dean, and his sister is now the direct disciple of the True Dragon sect." Xiao Yang sneered at the words, "Intention to train him as the next dean? That depends on whether he has the opportunity to join Xiandao Academy. So what if his sister is the direct disciple of the True Dragon sect master? My uncle is the supreme elder of the Fulong Sword sect." Xiao Yang looked at the direction of Yang Xiaoshan's newly bought house and said, "Yang Xiaoshan, I want to see if you are as powerful as the rumors say. I hope you won't let me down then." At this point, Xiao Yang's aura was released, and it was surprisingly the 7th level of the Martial King. At this time, Yang Xiaoshan, Wu Qi, Chen Changqing and others strolled around the newly bought house. It must be said that this newly bought house, whether in terms of construction materials or layout, is much better than Yang Xiaoshan's mansion in Shenzhen City. Yang Xiaoshan was very satisfied with the house. Although he spent 5 million gold, it was worth it. Since the purchase procedures had been completed on the spot, Yang Xiaoshan and others moved directly into the house. After entering the house, Yang Xiaoshan sent Liyuan and others out to get information. In the evening, Liyuan and others reported the important news they had found out to Yang Xiaoshan. "Palace Master, now the outside world is saying that as long as you pass the Xiandao Academy assessment, the Xiandao Academy's top management will train you as the next dean," Liyuan said. Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and said, "The Xiandao Academy's top management has never even met me. How could they rashly decide to train me as the next dean? This must be a rumor. Moreover, the selection of the dean of Xiandao Academy needs to go through many tests. He has not even entered Xiandao Academy yet, so how could the Xiandao Academy's top management train him as the next dean?" Yang Xiaoshan said to Liyuan, "Go check who spread the rumor. Spreading such a rumor is malicious, and obviously wants him to become the target of public criticism. If such a rumor spreads, the disciples from the 46 countries who are taking the test will definitely reject him, target him, and even attack him. It seems that someone doesn't want him to pass the Xiandao Academy test successfully. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136, 3 Favorites to Win. Liyuan followed Yang Xiaoshan's instructions and investigated who was spreading the rumors. After 2 days of relentless investigation and spending tens of thousands of gold, Liyuan finally found out who was spreading the rumors. Oh, the ones spreading the rumors were Jiuo Wei and Chen Yibing from Wuling Academy. Yang Xiaoshan was a little surprised. "Yes, it's Jiuo Wei and Chen Yibing," Liyuan said. "This Jiuo Wei is not simple. He is the first in the Wuling Kingdom Academy competition. When he participated in the Wuling Kingdom Academy competition, he defeated his opponents all the way and defeated them with one punch. No one could take his move. No one could take his move." Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. "Yes," Liyuan said, "some people say that he is the reincarnation of an ancient god and has incredible power. His martial soul is the ancient beast Golden Lion King." Golden Lion King, the top martial soul of level 12. I didn't expect Jiuo Wei's martial soul to be the Golden Lion King. What is his strength? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Liyuan shook his head. "I don't know. When participating in the Wuling Kingdom Academy competition, Jiuo Wei never revealed his true strength from beginning to end. He, like the young master, used both fists and didn't even use weapons." Chen Yibing was the second place in the Wuling Kingdom Academy competition. He was a mid-level 5th level martial king, but he was also defeated by Guo Wei in one move. I heard that Guo Wei, like the young master, is a son of martial arts and a sword genius. Guo Wei's sword talent is so good that even the Dean of Wuding Academy can't compare to him. Yang Xiaoshan didn't speak and listened to Liu and continue. There are 3 popular candidates for the championship in this year's Xiandao Academy freshman assessment. Liu said again, Guo Wei is one of them, and he is the one with the most hope of winning the championship. Who are the other 2? Yang Xiaoshan asked curiously. The other 2, one is Xiandao's eldest prince Xiao Yang, and the other is Lin Xiao from the God of War Academy. Liu replied. Yang Xiaoshan was stunned. Xiandao's eldest prince Xiao Yang? Unexpectedly, Xiandao's eldest prince Xiao Yang is one of the 3 most popular candidates for the championship. Xiao Yang is not simple either. Liu said, his realm is the 7th level of the martial king. The Xiandao imperial family has an ancient martial arts called the Stars Wuji Gong, which is very powerful. It is the most powerful martial arts of the Xiandao imperial family. Apart from the Xiandao imperial family's Teizu, only Xiao Yang has successfully practiced it. Xiao Yang's martial soul is the god of ancient astrology. Hearing that Xiao Yang's martial soul is the god of ancient astrology, Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. This kind of martial soul is extremely rare. Which ancient god of astrology is it? Yang Xiaoshan asked. There are many ancient gods of astrology, and their strengths are also strong and weak. I don't know. Liu shook his head. Then, he talked about Lin Xiao from the God of War Academy. Among the surrounding 46 kingdoms, the God of War Academy is the first academy of the Heohan Kingdom. It is very famous, and is listed as one of the 3 major academies along with the Wuding Academy and the Ancient Sword Academy. Lin Xiao is the first in the God of War Academy and the first in the Heohan National Academy competition. Like Guo Wei, when Lin Xiao participated in the competition of Heohan National Academy, he defeated his opponents with his bare fists, and he defeated his opponents easily. By the way, Lin Xiao was born with a divine body. Liu said solemnly, it is a 1000-fold divine body. 1000-fold divine body. Yang Xiaoshan was moved. It is very rare to be born with a special physique, but there are also strong and weak special physiques. For example, the Yang Lei body of the Son of Thunder is already good, but compared with the divine body, it is simply a weak chicken. And the 1000-fold divine body is the best divine body among the divine bodies. The 1000-fold divine body is truly infinitely powerful. People who have a divine body can exert superpower in any martial arts and magical powers. Geniuses with divine bodies are almost as rare as geniuses with supreme martial arts spirits. Yang Xiaoshan's heart was in turmoil. Originally, he thought that the first place in this year's Xiandao Academy freshman assessment was not challenging, but now it seems that it is still a bit challenging. Guo Wei, Xiao Yang, Lin Xiao, Yang Xiaoshan read. He was now looking forward to the freshman assessment of Xiandao Academy. The next day, when Yang Xiaoshan was practicing swordsmanship in the yard, Xiaojin walked in and said he was bored and dull. Seeing Xiaojin pouting, Yang Xiaoshan smiled. You are not bored, you are greedy, right? Xiaojin scratched his head embarrassedly. I heard that the lollipops in Xiandao Imperial City are delicious. Yang Xiaoshan laughed. This little guy was really thinking about the lollipops. Okay, let's go buy some candy. Yang Xiaoshan smiled. Xiaojin was immediately overjoyed. Yang Xiaoshan did not tell anyone, and he left the house with Xiaojin. After asking about the most famous snack shop in Xiandao Imperial City, the man and the beast walked towards the snack shop. After a while, Yang Xiaoshan and Xiaojin arrived at the snack shop. Yang Xiaoshan bought Xiaojin an extra large lollipop, and he bought a bag of nuts from Huago Mountain, which he and his sister Yang Linga both liked to eat. Just as Yang Xiaoshan and Xiaojin turned around and walked out of the snack shop, they saw a man being hit by someone and crashed into him with great force. Yang Xiaoshan was quick and held the man's back with one hand, so the man didn't hit him, but the nuts in Yang Xiaoshan's hand fell to the ground. The man turned around and was about to say thank you to Yang Xiaoshan, but he was surprised. Palace Master Yang. It was Chen Hailin from Thunder Academy. Chen Hailin's mouth was bleeding, and there was a fist mark on his chest. It was obvious that the punch he had just received was not light. Although Chen Hailin was from Thunder Academy, he and the Son of Thunder had already joined him and could be considered his subordinates. Seeing Chen Hailin being beaten, Yang Xiaoshan frowned and looked across. There were 4 people on the opposite side. They all wore the battle robes of Wuding Academy, and they seemed to be students of Wuding Academy. What's going on? Yang Xiaoshan asked Chen Hailin. The people from Wuding Academy have always bullied our Wuding Academy. Today, I went out to buy something, and was bumped into by them. Chen Hailin said. As soon as the 4 of them saw me, they attacked me. The 4 of them surrounded me. At this time, the 4 people from Wuding Academy walked over here. When the 4 of them came over, they stepped on the nuts that Yang Xiaoshan dropped on the ground and exploded. You stepped on my nuts, Yang Xiaoshan warned. Several people were stunned and looked at the nuts under their feet. One of them laughed and said, "Little brat, is this nut yours?" At this point, he used his feet to trample the nuts under his feet, and the nuts were crushed to pieces. Not only did I step on it now, but I also crushed it to pieces. How about I give you a silver coin to buy it back? Several people laughed out loud. However, just as he laughed, suddenly, a figure flashed, and Yang Xiaoshan was already in front of him. Yang Xiaoshan stretched out his hand and pinched the other person's neck. The student from Wuding College was lifted up from the ground by Yang Xiaoshan like a duck. Then, Yang Xiaoshan punched him hard in the belly. Chapter 137. I hope you won't be blown up by my punch. Bang. A loud bang was heard by people around the street. The student from Wuding Academy who was lifted by Yang Xiaoshan was blasted into the sky by Yang Xiaoshan. Just like Cheng Long at the beginning, he flew up to a height of dozens of meters before falling from the sky. Boom. The ground was shaken by the blast. Spider-like fine cracks appeared on the ground around him. The student from Wuding Academy was lying there, twitching hard. Not only was his belly twitching, but his whole body was twitching, and his face was twisted in pain. Looking at the student from Wuding Academy lying there like a toad, twitching in pain, Chen Hailin took a deep breath. This feeling was quite comfortable. The other 3 students from Wuding Academy were stunned. The one who was blasted into the sky by Yang Xiaoshan was the strongest among the 4 of them, and was at the peak of the early 4th level of Wu Wang. A Wu Wang at the peak of the early 4th level was actually blasted into the sky by a little kid, and then he lay there, unable to stand up in pain. The 3 looked at Yang Xiaoshan in shock. Who are you? One of them suddenly remembered someone, and his face changed drastically. Yang Shen. The other 2 also changed their faces when they heard that the child in front of them might be Yang Shen. Yes, in the surrounding countries, which child has such terrifying strength? When it comes to Yang Shen, Yang Xiaoshan looked at the feet of the 3 people and said, "You stepped on my nuts." Then he walked towards the 3 people. The 3 people looked at the nuts that were crushed under their feet and jumped up in fear and moved their feet away. However, as soon as they moved their feet away, they stepped on the nuts next to them again. A crisp crack sounded. The 3 people's faces turned pale and bloodless, looking at the nuts that had just been crushed under their feet in horror, as if they were looking at their own crushed balls. They didn't dare to move anymore, and looked at Yang Xiaoshan who was walking over, and quickly waved their hands. "Yang Shen, we will compensate you. No matter how much you paid for it, we will compensate you in full," one of them said quickly, and then took money out of his pocket. At this time, Xiaojin, who was eating a lollipop with gusto, said, "My son just bought nuts, which cost more than 10,000 gold. More than 10,000 gold. The Wuding Academy student who was about to pay started eating, and looked at Xiaojin with an unpleasant expression. Yang Xiaoshan also looked at Xiaojin. For the first time, he found that this little guy was thick-skinned. More than 10,000 gold? What nuts are so expensive? Another Wuding Academy student looked at Xiaojin angrily. Xiaojin said, "My son's nuts are unique, so it's normal to be expensive." Seeing Xiaojin's serious look, several Wuding Academy students were so angry that they vomited blood. "Yang Xiaoshan, you are blackmailing me." One of the Wuding Academy students was furious. "Don't think you are very strong. Our senior brother Jiuo Wei can suppress you with one hand." Another student also said angrily, "Don't say our senior brother Jiuo Wei. Even our senior brother Yi Bing can easily defeat you with one hand." "Really?" Yang Xiaoshen's face was normal, and he continued to walk towards the three people. The three looked at each other, and suddenly jumped up at the same time, attacking Yang Xiaoshen from three directions at the same time. 100 Breaking Divine Fist. Invincible. The amazing fist force hit Yang Xiaoshen in an overwhelming manner. 100 Breaking Divine Fist is a great magical power of Wuding Academy, and it is very powerful among all the great magical powers of Wuding Academy. The three people are all at the peak of the third level of Wu Wang, and the power is even stronger when they are used at the same time. Under the fist force of the three people's 100 Breaking Divine Fist, Yang Xiaoshen is like a small boat under the raging waves, and may be destroyed at any time. Yang Xiaoshen looked at the overwhelming 100 Breaking Divine Fist, and let the fist force of the three people hit him. Boom. The fist force of the three people's 100 Breaking Divine Fist hit Yang Xiaoshen in full. After being surprised, the three people from Wuding Academy were overjoyed. They didn't expect that they would succeed in one blow. If they can defeat Yang Xiaoshen, then it will definitely greatly enhance the reputation of their Wuding Academy. Just when the three were overjoyed and were about to attack again, their smiles froze, and they saw Yang Xiaoshen standing there, intact. The three couldn't believe it. Just now, Yang Xiaoshen took the blows of the three of them with the 100 Breaking Divine Fists, but he was not injured. Just when the three were surprised, a figure flashed, and Yang Xiaoshen had already come in front of the three and punched out. Boom. 3 Shuriken fists hit the three at the same time. In an instant, the three felt like they were hit by a huge mountain, and then an extreme pain came from their internal organs. When the three hit the end of the street, they all covered their stomachs and curled up together, with tears in their eyes. This hurts. That extreme pain made them feel that their entire stomachs did not belong to them. Yang Xiaoshen looked at the people from Wuding Academy curled up there with cold eyes, tears streaming down his face. Shuriken, it really works every time. Yang Xiaoshen no longer paid attention to the four people and spent another silver coin to go to the store next door to buy another batch of nuts. But when passing by the four people, one of them stared at Yang Xiaoshen with hatred in his eyes and said in a hoarse voice, Yang Xiaoshen, when the freshman assessment of Xiandao College is held, our senior brother Jiuowei will avenge us. He will pinch you to death and pinch you to death. At this time, Xiaojin happened to pass by and accidentally stepped on the other person's foot. It hurts. The student of Wuding College screamed in pain, his face pale. Then I'll wait and see how your senior brother Jiuowei pinches me to death. Yang Xiaoshen said indifferently, and walked away with Xiaojin. Chen Hailin hurriedly followed behind Yang Xiaoshen. After a while, Yang Xiaoshen and Chen Hailin separated and returned to the house with Xiaojin. When other students of Wuding College arrived, they saw the four people curled up on the ground, looking painful, and they were all shocked and angry. In the end, the four people were carried back. Jiuowei looked at the four people who were carried back, his face gloomy. Who did it? It was Yang Xiaoshen. One of them cried, Big brother Jiuowei, Yang Xiaoshen is too bullying, we just stepped on his nuts, and he hit our stomachs. Step on the nuts. Hit our stomachs. When Jiuowei heard that the person who did it was Yang Xiaoshen, his voice was cold. What happened? The four people told the whole story. Big brother, Yang Xiaoshen is obviously looking for trouble. We just stepped on his nuts and he blasted us like this. The student who was blasted away first cried, and when we mentioned you, big brother, he didn't take you seriously at all. Jiuowei's eyes were cold. This Yang Xiaoshen, he thinks he can challenge our Wuding Academy just by relying on a sister. He is really looking for death. Chen Yibing pondered and said, although Yang Xiaoshen is arrogant, his strength should not be underestimated. Fei and the other two used the 100 Breaking Divine Fists with all their strength, but he was fine. It seems that his physical defense is extremely strong. Jiuowei glanced at Chen Yibing and said, I have practiced the strongest ancient body refining technique. No matter how strong his physical body is, can it be stronger than mine? With a full strength punch, I can blow up a grey bear of the 6th level of the Martial King. I hope he won't be blown up by my punch then. The editor-in-chief sent good news today. The storytelling results are good. Brothers, cheer up. Chapter 138 13 and 14. Jiuowei's voice echoed in the hall. It's no wonder that Jiuowei is so confident. Only he knows how terrifying the ancient strongest body refining art he practices is. When participating in the academy competition of Wuding Kingdom, he has been suppressing his strength. He only uses a small part of his strength every time he punches. Because he is afraid that, if he punches with all his strength, all the participating disciples of Wuding Kingdom will be blown up by him. Just when Jiuowei was worried that he would blow up Yangzai Ocean with a full punch, the top leaders of Xiandao Academy were also discussing the enrollment of Xiandao Academy. Zihang, the dean of Xiandao Academy, looked at the elders and smiled. Who do you think will win the first place this time? Jiuowei, Xiao Yang and Lin Xiao? Obviously, Zihang and other top leaders are also optimistic about Jiuowei, Xiao Yang and Lin Xiao, and think that the three have the best chance of winning the first place in this freshman assessment. Judging from the strength shown by the students in the 46-country academy competition, Jiuowei, Xiao Yang and Lin Xiao are undoubtedly the strongest. Xiandao Academy's great elder Zhang Yun smiled and said, I'm optimistic about Jiuowei. Jiuowei is said to have practiced the ancient body refining technique. His body is extremely terrifying. His pair of iron fists are indestructible. No one can withstand his punches. Then he added, and everyone knows his talent for swordsmanship. He is the most talented genius in swordsmanship in Wuding Academy in hundreds of years. I have talked to the dean of Wuding Academy. Jiuowei has practiced 2 supreme magical swordsmanship to perfection. Zihang and others were surprised when they heard it. What? Practiced 2 supreme magical swordsmanship to perfection? Vice Dean Fan Ruquan couldn't believe it. Supreme magical power is the most difficult to practice. Many strong people can't practice 1 supreme magical power to perfection after practicing for a lifetime. But Jiuowei has practiced 2 supreme magical swordsmanship to perfection. The key is that Jiuowei is only in his 20s. Such a talent for swordsmanship is rare. Yes, half a year ago, Jiuowei had already cultivated 2 supreme magical swordsmanship to perfection. The great elder Zhang Yun said, now Jiuowei may have cultivated 3 supreme magical powers to perfection. 3 supreme magical powers, perfection. Zihang and the senior executives of Wuding Academy were shocked. If this is true, then Jiuowei's swordsmanship talent is definitely the highest among the more than 400 students who participated in the assessment this time. Even Yangzai Ocean can't compare with Jiuowei, Zihang exclaimed. Although Yangzai Ocean comprehended the 100 stone swords of the Divine Sword Academy, in the eyes of Zihang and others, Jiuowei's swordsmanship talent is better. It is a blessing for Xiandao Academy to have a swordsmanship genius like Jiuowei join us. Fan Ruquan said with relief, maybe he can drive our academy's Yulong sword in the future. Zihang, Zhang Yun and others all nodded. However, although Jiuowei's talent and strength are strong, Lin Xiao's talent and strength are not weaker than Jiuowei. The second elder Zhu Chenhu said, Lin Xiao is a 1,000-fold divine body. 1,000-fold divine body. Hearing the second elder Zhu Chenhu talking about Lin Xiao's 1,000-fold divine body, everyone present was shocked. Even in the entire Shenlong Empire, geniuses born with divine bodies are amazing. Not to mention the 1,000-fold divine body of the superior divine body. Zihang smiled and said, if Jiuowei and Lin Xiao fight, it will definitely be very exciting. Do you think Jiuowei's physical body is stronger or Lin Xiao's physical body is stronger? Everyone didn't know how to answer for a while. One practiced the ancient body refining technique, and his physical body was so strong that no one could block his punch. The other was born with a superior divine body, and his physical body was equally terrifying. His Highness Xiao Yang practiced the infinite power of the stars, and his martial soul is the god of ancient astrology. His strength is not weaker than Jiuowei and Lin Xiao. The third elder Sun Tzu said. Everyone in the hall was amazed when they heard Sun Tzu talk about the infinite stars skill. The infinite stars skill was the most powerful skill of the Xiandao Empire's royal family, and it was also one of the most powerful skills of the Xiandao Empire. They all knew the power of the infinite stars skill. Then, everyone talked about Yangzai Ocean and several other students who performed amazingly. Yangzai Ocean, twin 11th level martial souls, amazing swordsmanship, and a genius with a very high talent for alchemy. Zihang said, he has refined the best foundation building spirit liquid before he is 9 years old. To be honest, this is the first time I have seen such an alchemy genius. He has reached the king level before he is 9 years old. This is also the first time I have seen such a speed of cultivation. Just as Zihang was amazed, the great elder Zhan Yun said, Yang Xiaoshan must have swallowed pills frequently to cultivate, which is why he has such a speed of cultivation. Then he shook his head and said, frequent swallowing of pills will make his foundation unstable, and it will become increasingly difficult to improve in the future. This boy is already useless. Although his talent for alchemy seems amazing now, he may not be able to refine the best elixir in the future. The third elder son Zen also nodded and said, his martial soul talent and swordsmanship talent are not as good as Jiuo Wei and the other two. As for strength, he is still a lot worse than Jiuo Wei and the other two. It's a pity that he doesn't have the same talent as his sister. Yang Xiaoshan didn't know what the high-ranking officials of Xiandao Academy were talking about. He was practicing the 100 sword technique. He only needed one stone sword to complete all the sword techniques of the 100 swords. As for the 11 supreme magical powers left by Kao-shun, he had already practiced them all to perfection. More than 2 months ago, when he was in the land of demons, he had also practiced the supreme magical power Huanquan magic hand from Yaoxu to perfection. He only read those minor and major magical powers and learned about them, but didn't practice them. For him, practicing those minor and major magical powers was a pure waste of time. Just when Yang Xiaoshan was about to practice the last stone sword to perfection, Liuan came in and reported to him the news of the past few days. The day after tomorrow is the Xiandao Academy enrollment competition. Now all the major restaurants in Xiandao Imperial City have opened large and small gambling games, all betting that Jiuo Wei, Lin Xiao, and Xiao Yan will win the championship. Among them, Jiuo Wei has the highest voice for winning the championship. So what do you think I can get into? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Liuan hesitated for a moment and said, some people think that the young master can only enter the top 10 at most, and most people think that the young master is 13th or 14th. 13th? 14th? In other words, most people don't even think that they can't even enter the top 10. Yang Xiaoshan thought secretly. At this time, Guzi, the prince of Gujian Kingdom, also came to the restaurant to place a bet. He bought 100,000 gold and bet on Jiuo Wei to win the championship. When his sister Gukan saw her brother Guzi betting on Jiuo Wei to win the championship, she couldn't help but said, brother, don't you worship Yang Shen? Why do you bet on Jiuo Wei to win the championship? Guzi smiled and said, worship is one thing, and winning the championship is another. Yang Shen's strength is not as good as Jiuo Wei. Yang Shen is too young. If he practices for a few more years and waits until the next session to participate, he may win the championship, but not this time. Chapter 139 Yang Xiaoshan's strength is not enough. The night was quiet. In the courtyard, the sword energy sometimes flowed, sometimes fluctuated violently, sometimes like a raging wave, and sometimes like a calm lake. After a few moments of this, the sword energy suddenly dissipated slowly like smoke. When the sword energy dissipated, Yang Xiaoshan's figure appeared. Yang Xiaoshan felt relieved. Tomorrow was the enrollment examination of Xiandao Academy. All the 100 swords had finally been cultivated to the state of perfection. He raised his hand and saw sword energy entangled between his fingers. These sword energies were different, no more and no less, a total of 100. It was the sword energy of the 100 stone swords of the Divine Sword Academy. After cultivating all the 100 stone swords to the state of perfection, he could now control the 100 sword energies at will. Yang Xiaoshan flicked his finger and saw 100 sword energies flying out and instantly sank into the stone sculpture in front. When Yang Xiaoshan left and returned to his room to practice the dragon art, the wind blew, and the stone sculptures that were intact on the surface collapsed and began to fall one by one. That's right, one by one, like leaves. Sitting cross-legged on the cold jade bed, the two supreme martial spirits, Zuanwu and Heilong, coiled above Yang Xiaoshan's head, filled with overwhelming power. These days, as Yang Xiaoshan swallowed the heavenly tribulation thunder water and thunder yuan liquid every day to practice, the two supreme martial spirits continued to change. Zuanwu was getting bigger, like a black land. The black dragon was like a black sacred mountain that supported the sky. The sky blue thunder python coiled in the medicine cauldron looked at Yang Zai Ocean's black dragon martial spirit with a complicated expression. To be honest, when he first saw Yang Zai Ocean's black dragon martial spirit, he was really shocked. The black dragon martial spirit in front of him reminded him of an extremely distant legend. The night will eventually pass. The sky began to brighten. Chiandao Imperial City suddenly became noisy. Yang Zai Ocean came out of the room and came to the yard. Wookie, Chen Changqing and others were all waiting in the yard. Young Master, Palace Master, Wookie, Chen Changqing and others came to greet him. Yang Zai Ocean didn't talk much and led everyone out of the house and came to Xiandao Academy. The house was not far from Xiandao Academy and soon everyone arrived at the square of Xiandao Academy. The square was naturally crowded with people and it was difficult to walk. Yang Zai Ocean's arrival still attracted the attention of many people. That kid, is it Yang Zai Ocean? TSK, he has achieved the King Realm before he is 9 years old. This is too against the sky. Against the sky? I heard that he has such a cultivation level now, which is accumulated by swallowing pills all the way. Otherwise, he would not be able to achieve the King Realm so quickly. The day before yesterday, 4 students from Wuling Academy were beaten by Yang Zai Ocean, and Yang Zai Ocean also threatened to provoke Jiuo Wei. Dare to provoke Jiuo Wei? Yang Zai Ocean's strength is not enough, right? How many punches can Yang Zai Ocean withstand from Jiuo Wei? How many punches? Even the Kang Xiang of the 6th level of Wu Wang was blown up by Jiuo Wei's punch. It's hard to say whether Yang Zai Ocean can withstand Jiuo Wei's punch. The crowd around, disciples from various countries, families, and academies whispered to each other, listening to everyone discussing the pros and cons of Yang Zai Ocean. Chen Changqing, He and others frowned. Yang Zai Ocean, on the other hand, had a calm face. Lin Zio from the God of War Academy. Lin Zio is here. At this moment, suddenly, there was a strong commotion in the crowd in the square. Although Yang Zai Ocean's arrival just now attracted a lot of attention, it did not cause a commotion. However, now that Lin Zio from the God of War Academy has arrived, all the strong men from all sides are looking at him sideways, and there is a strong commotion. This shows the status of Lin Zio, who has a 1000-fold divine body, in the hearts of everyone. Yang Zai Ocean also looked over. The square, which was originally crowded with people, gave way to a road. At the end of the road, a tall, dark-skinned young man wearing a battle robe from the God of War Academy walked over. Behind the young man were a group of masters from the God of War Academy. The young man was Lin Zio, one of the 3 most popular candidates for the championship this time. Lin Zio has a superior divine body, or 1000-fold divine body. This alone is enough to amaze the empire. However, Yang Zai Ocean knew that Lin Zio was not just a simple possessor of a 1000-fold divine body. His martial arts talent was also amazing. He had cultivated the God of War art, the first skill of the God of War Academy, to the 3rd level. And he had reached the peak of the 3rd level. The God of War art is the first skill of the God of War Academy. It is almost impossible to practice successfully. It is shocking that he can practice to the 1st level, not to mention that he has practiced to the peak of the 3rd level. Moreover, Lin Zio is only 20 years old now. Lin Zio walked into the square surrounded by the crowd. Brother Lin, that kid is Yang Zai Ocean. A student from the God of War Academy said to Lin Zio. Lin Zio followed the direction and looked at Yang Zai Ocean, but after just one glance, he retracted his gaze and no longer focused on Yang Zai Ocean. For him, the opponent this time is not Yang Zai Ocean, but Jiuo Wei and Zio Yang. Lin Zio led the people of the God of War Academy to walk straight past Yang Zai Ocean. After Lin Zio, Zio Yang and a group of masters from the Xiandao royal family arrived. Zio Yang's arrival also caused a strong commotion at the scene. When passing by Yang Zai Ocean, Zio Yang snorted coldly and glanced at Yang Zai Ocean. He had received the will of his uncle from the Fulong Sword sect. If he meets Yang Zai Ocean, kill him. Yang Zai Ocean, you'd better pray to God and don't meet me later. Shortly after Zio Yang arrived, Jiuo Wei and a group of masters from Wuling Academy arrived. When Jiuo Wei arrived, the scene was greatly shaken, and the excitement of the crowd was even stronger than when Lin Xiao and Xiao Yang arrived. After all, in this Xiandao Academy freshman assessment, Jiuo Wei was the one with the highest voice to win the championship. Son of God. Someone shouted excitedly. Jiuo Wei is the reincarnation of a god, so many people call him the son of a god. In the hearts of Wuding Academy and many people, Jiuo Wei will definitely achieve the realm of gods in hundreds of years, that is, the realm of martial gods. Amid the excited shouts of the crowd, Jiuo Wei walked into the square with his head held high and his chest held high. Big brother, that little brat is Yang Xiaoshan. Behind Jiuo Wei, the 4 students whose stomachs were almost exploded by Yang Xiaoshan looked at Yang Xiaoshan with hatred. That look made them want to tear Yang Xiaoshan apart. Jiuo Wei walked towards Yang Xiaoshan and came in front of him. He looked down at Yang Xiaoshan and said, Yang Xiaoshan, right? I heard that you are also very strong physically. I hope you can block my punch and live up to your title of Yang God. Jiuo Wei was very unhappy with the title of Yang God given to Yang Xiaoshan by the students of the Divine Sword Academy. He is the reincarnation of a god and is called the son of a god. Who is Yang Xiaoshan to be called Yang God? I should be the one to say this to you. Yang Xiaoshan said calmly, I hope you can block my punch. Everyone was stunned. Suddenly, the students of Wuding Academy glared at Yang Xiaoshan. A master of the kingdom sneered and said, this Yang Xiaoshan is really ignorant of the world. If he really meets Jiuo Wei later, he will probably be beaten to death by Jiuo Wei. Many people laughed out loud. Chapter 140 His disciples will definitely win. Hearing the mocking voices, Chen Shanking, He Lei and others were all furious. Someone then laughed and said, whether he will urinate or not, I don't know, but I know that Yang Xiaoshan will definitely be tortured very badly. Maybe even his mother won't recognize him. Many people laughed. When Chen Shanking and others were about to step forward angrily, Yang Xiaoshan stretched out his hand to stop them. Yang Xiaoshan looked at the 2 people who had just been mocked. One was from Zuanbing Academy. The other was from Shengguang Academy. These 2 academies were also very strong among the many kingdom academies, much stronger than the Divine Sword Academy. Yang Xiaoshan remembered these 2 academies. Jiuo Wei looked at Yang Xiaoshan and said with a smile, Yang Xiaoshan, did you hear that? I hope you won't be tortured by me to the point where even your mother won't recognize you. After that, he left with everyone from Wuding Academy. Wookie stared at Jiuo Wei and said to Yang Xiaoshan, Sir, do you want me to take action now to clean up this guy and the garbage from Wuding Academy? Yang Xiaoshan shook his hand and said, no need. Then he said, if I have to clean up, I will do it myself. People who knew Yang Xiaoshan well knew that Yang Xiaoshan was angry. After a while, Zihang, the dean of Xiandao Academy, and a group of senior officials of Xiandao Academy appeared on the rostrum. Zihang glanced at the masters of the major kingdoms at the scene, and his eyes stayed on Jiuo Wei, Xiao Yang, and Lin Xiao for a while, and then said to the elder Zhang Yun, let's start. The elder Zhang Yun nodded, then walked forward, and asked the top 10 disciples of the major kingdoms to enter the competition. Yang Xiaoshan, the son of thunder, Chen Heilin, Cheng Wu and others walked into the competition venue respectively. After Yang Xiaoshan, Jiuo Wei, Lin Xiao and others entered the competition venue, Zhang Yun began to announce the rules of this freshman assessment. In fact, the freshman assessment is not so fancy. It is just a ring battle, and the 100 people are determined by the victory or defeat. Of course, after selecting 100 people, the top 10 will be determined by the wins and losses. The rewards for the top 10 are very generous. The higher the ranking, the more amazing the reward. Zhang Yun specifically mentioned the reward for the first place this time, the first place in this freshman assessment, in addition to a set of high-level treasures, 100 low-grade spirit stones, and 10 top-grade 9 yang longevity pills, will also be rewarded with a supreme magical swordsmanship. After a pause, he said, Sky Thousand Swords. When Zhang Yun said this, everyone was shocked. What? Supreme magical power, Sky Thousand Swords. This is one of the top 10 swordsmanships of Xiandao Academy, and Xiandao Academy actually uses it to reward the first place. Sky Thousand Swords. Once the 1,000 swords come out, the wind and clouds will change. This Sky Thousand Swords is a priceless thing. Many kingdom masters have fiery eyes. Sky Thousand Swords is listed as one of the top 10 swordsmanships of Xiandao Academy, so you can imagine its power. When Jiuo Wei heard about the first prize, Xingkan Qianjian, his eyes were also burning. He had long coveted Xingkan Qianjian. When he entered Xiandao Academy, one of the sword techniques he wanted to learn the most was Xingkan Qianjian. Xiao Yang and Lin Xiao's reactions were similar to Jiuo Wei's. After hearing about the first prize, Xingkan Qianjian, they both clenched their fists and secretly vowed to win the first place among the freshmen this time. Zhang Yun saw the reactions of everyone and smiled slightly. In the eyes of the senior executives of Xiandao Academy, Jiuo Wei had the greatest hope of winning the championship this time. This time, everyone took out Xingkan Qianjian as a reward, which was actually prepared for Jiuo Wei. The senior executives of Xiandao Academy have already intended to train Jiuo Wei as one of the candidates for the next dean. Okay, everyone come forward to draw lots, Zhang Yun said after a while. Yang Xiaoshan, Jiuo Wei and others came forward to draw lots. This time, Yang Xiaoshan drew number 7. The person who drew number 7 with Yang Xiaoshan was Hu Xianqian from Xuanbing Academy. Hu Xianqian is the strongest student in Xuanbing Academy and the first in the National Academy competition. He is very strong. Many people believe that Hu Xianqian is expected to enter the top 20. Yang Xiaoshan saw that his first opponent was Hu Xianqian and smiled coldly. It was Zhang He, the dean of Xuanbing Academy, who said that he would be beaten to a pulp by Jiuo Wei. Hu Xianqian as his disciple. Zhang He saw that his disciple Hu Xianqian met Yang Xiaoshan in the first game. After being surprised, he said to Hu Xianqian, Yang Xiaoshan's body is not weak. You will attack him later. Focus on his eyes and throat, and use the power of Xuanbing to slow down his movement speed. Hu Xianqian heard this, and smiled and said, Don't worry, master, I have hidden my strength. We will let everyone know that the ranking of the gambling is wrong. In the recent gambling rankings, his ranking is slightly behind Yang Xiaoshan by 1 or 2 places. Hu Xianqian has long been unhappy with this ranking. He thinks that with his strength, he can beat Yang Xiaoshan. Didn't everyone say that Yang Xiaoshan's body is not weak? He will show everyone who has a stronger body, Yang Xiaoshan or himself. A few days ago, he awakened some kind of ancient bloodline. Once he activates the power of the bloodline, his body will surge in both strength and defense. Even his master didn't know about this. Hu Xianqian strode towards the number 7 ring. Just as Yang Xiaoshan and Hu Xianqian walked towards the number 7 ring, Chen Hailin from Thunder Academy had an ugly look on his face, because the one he drew in the first match was Jiuo Wei from Wuling Academy. When the 4 students from Wuling Academy saw that Jiuo Wei's first opponent was Chen Hailin, they were overjoyed. Big brother, if it wasn't for that Chen Hailin that day, we wouldn't have been injured by Yang Xiaoshan. You must torture Chen Hailin to death and avenge us. One of them said hatefully. Don't worry. Jiuo Wei said, jumped up, landed on the ring, and looked at Chen Hailin, as if looking at a weak ant. Chen Hailin, right? Come on up. Chen Hailin took a deep breath and slowly walked onto the ring. When Chen Hailin stepped onto the stage, Jiuo Wei walked towards Chen Hailin and said, Before, Yang Xiaoshan punched each of my 4 juniors. Now, I will give you all back. Before Chen Hailin could react, a figure suddenly flashed, and Jiuo Wei came in front of him, and punched Chen Hailin in the belly. At this time, students from various stages also started fighting. On the 7th stage, Hu Xianqian also walked towards Yang Xiaoshan. He said proudly, Yang Xiaoshan, everyone says that your physical body is not weak. Let's punch each other later, and compete with each other. How about it? Hearing this, Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, Are you sure? Hu Xianqian did not speak, and activated the ancient blood in his body. Suddenly, a violent force surged out of his body. Hu Xianqian's whole body was surging with light, and his whole body began to undergo amazing changes. Runes extended to his whole body like vines. Feeling Hu Xianqian's amazing violent power, Zihang and others looked over here. When they saw the changes in Hu Xianqian's body, they couldn't help but be surprised. This is the blood of the ancient wild beast. What? The blood of the ancient wild beast? Everyone was surprised when they heard it. Many people have heard of the blood of the ancient wild beast. It is a very strong blood in ancient times. Zhang He was overjoyed when he saw his disciple activate the blood of the ancient wild beast. This disciple really surprised him. In this case, his disciple will win. Generally, there are 2 updates a day, one at around 5 PM, and the second update at around 8 PM. If there are 3 updates, there will be an additional update in the morning. Chapter 141, Weakling. I didn't expect that Uzyankian actually has the blood of an ancient wild beast. Zihang was also surprised. Ancient blood is also rare. Although Xiandao Academy is not short of geniuses, there are still very few geniuses with ancient blood. It is really a pleasant surprise to recruit a genius with ancient blood this year. However, Zihang looked at Yang Xiaoshan opposite Uzyankian and frowned. Since Uzyankian has the blood of an ancient wild beast, Yang Xiaoshan is afraid that he will lose. Then, Yang Xiaoshan can't even enter the top 100? Other senior officials of Xiandao Academy also thought of this problem. Second Elder Zhu Chen, who shook his head and said, it seems that Yang Xiaoshan can't pass the Xiandao Academy's enrollment assessment this year. What a pity. The eldest Elder Zhang Yun, who believed that Yang Xiaoshan's strength was improved by taking drugs, said, it's nothing to regret. It's just the survival of the fittest. He has always disliked disciples who have been relying on drugs to improve their strength. Ancient wild beast blood. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Uzyankian calmly. He was not in a hurry to attack and let the other party activate all the power of the ancient wild beast bloodline. When Uzyankian completely activated the power of the ancient wild beast bloodline in his body, a violent breath from the ancient beast swept the world. A hurricane formed around Uzyankian's body. Seeing this, everyone around was amazed at the strength of the wild beast bloodline. Yang Xiaoshan, take my punch. Suddenly, Uzyankian rushed towards Yang Xiaoshan like a violent beast and punched Yang Xiaoshan in the chest. The terrifying fist wave roared. There were faint roars of countless beasts. Get out of the ring. Uzyankian's eyes were fierce, and in the blink of an eye, his fist had already hit Yang Xiaoshan. Seeing the tall Uzyankian blasting towards Yang Xiaoshan with a destructive force, many female disciples even turned their faces away, unable to bear to see Yang Xiaoshan being blasted into blood plasma. Boom. Uzyankian punched Yang Xiaoshan in the chest. A loud bang resounded through the square. Just when everyone thought that Yang Xiaoshan was going to be knocked out of the ring by Uzyankian's punch, Uzyankian's face suddenly changed, because when he punched Yang Xiaoshan's chest, it was like punching the hardest diamond wall in history. Pain. This was the first feeling of his 5 fingers. At the same time, a terrifying force was shaken back from Yang Xiaoshan's chest. The strength of this terrifying force was something he had never seen before. Under the gaze of everyone, Uzyankian was shaken back by this terrifying force. He wanted to control his body, but he couldn't control it at all. Almost every few steps back, Uzyankian vomited blood and retreated to the edge of the ring. When Uzyankian stopped, his chest was already stained with blood. Uzyankian raised his painful fist and 5 fingers, just like raising a chicken claw, and looked at Yang Xiaoshan in horror. You. As for what you, he never said. What? Zihang, Zhang Yun and others all stood up suddenly and looked at the number 7 ring in shock. Zhang He was even more dazed. Just as everyone at the scene couldn't believe it, Yang Xiaoshan patted the dust on his chest, which was actually not dusty, and then walked towards Uzyankian. Ancient wild beast bloodline? You are a weakling, right? You are a weakling. A disciple in the crowd laughed and couldn't help but spit saliva on his master. On the rostrum, Zhang Yun heard the words and opened his mouth, wanting to speak, but in the end he was speechless. Looking at Yang Xiaoshan walking over, Uzyankian wanted to retreat in fear, but found that he was already outside the ring and couldn't retreat. Yang Xiaoshan, what kind of body refining art are you practicing? Uzyankian was shocked and angry. Weak chicken art. Yang Xiaoshan said. Weak chicken art. In the crowd, the disciple almost spit out saliva again. Uzyankian's face turned red like purple, and he was ashamed and angry. He suddenly punched Yang Xiaoshan with his other hand. Yang Xiaoshan, I will kill you. This punch condensed all the power of his wild beast bloodline and all his true energy. However, he did not hit Yang Xiaoshen's chest again, but hit Yang Xiaoshen's throat. The throat has the weakest defense, and he did not believe that Yang Xiaoshen could train his throat to the level of diamond. But as soon as he punched out, Yang Xiaoshen also punched out. The two fists collided with each other. A crisp sound of bone cracking was heard. Hu Xiangqian was terrified, and Yang Xiaoshen punched him in the belly with another punch. Bang! Hu Xiangqian, who was standing on the edge of the ring, was hit by Yang Xiaoshen like a sandbag and flew up. After flying high, he fell to the edge of the square. The ground shook. Hu Xiangqian lay there, motionless. Everyone was stunned. Just like that, it ended. Originally, everyone thought that Hu Xiangqian, who activated the blood of the ancient wild beast, could fight with Yang Xiaoshen for 10 or 8 moves, even if he was defeated, but he was solved so simply by Yang Xiaoshen. Everyone was shocked. The students of Zuanbing College hurried forward to lift Hu Xiangqian, but when they lifted him up, they found that Hu Xiangqian's crotch was wet. Everyone looked strange. Zhang He, the dean of Zuanbing College, twitched. He had just mocked Yang Xiaoshen that he would be tortured by Jiuo Wei to the point of peeing. Yang Xiaoshen was definitely doing it on purpose. Yang Xiaoshen was slapping him in the face. Zhang He looked at Yang Xiaoshen angrily. At this moment, there was another loud bang, and Chen Hailin was also knocked out of the ring by Jiuo Wei's punch. Chen Hailin lay there, exhaling more and inhaling less. At this time, Jiuo Wei looked at Yang Xiaoshen provocatively, and the two looked at each other. After the referee announced that Yang Xiaoshen won the competition, Yang Xiaoshen came to Chen Hailin of Leiting College. Looking at Chen Hailin, whose face was as hen and breathless, Yang Xiaoshen's face sank, and he took out a top-grade immortality pill, and asked Chen Hailin to swallow it. After a hard battle, the other students on the ring also ended their first competition. Then, it was a second match. In this match, Yang Xiaoshen drew Xiao Fei from the Xiandao Imperial family. Xiao Fei is Xiao Yang's cousin. This Xiao Fei is very strong and talented. He is the disciple of the Xiandao Imperial family who is second only to Xiao Yang in strength and talent. Among all the participating disciples, he is considered by everyone to be ranked 7th in strength. Xiao Fei frowned when he saw that he would fight against Yang Xiaoshen in the second match. Xiao Yang saw Xiao Fei's expression and said, Yang Xiaoshen just relied on his strong physical body. The idiot Hu Xiangqian chose to compete with him in physical body, so he lost. The Tyrant Dragon Juyu practice combined with the Tyrant Dragon Sword technique is suitable for long-range attack. Yang Xiaoshen will definitely lose to you. Xiao Fei nodded and walked onto the ring. The top leaders of Xiandao Academy were all surprised to see that Xiao Fei would fight against Yang Xiaoshen in the second match. I didn't expect that Xiao Fei and Yang Xiaoshen would fight in this match. What do you think? Zihang asked everyone with a smile. The great elder Zhang Yun said, Xiao Fei has the strength of the top 7. He swallowed the dragon liquid when he was young, and he has practiced the dragon tyrant up to the 7th level. His supreme magical power, the Dragon Tyrant Sword skill, has even reached perfection. How could Yang Xiaoshen be his opponent? Chapter 142, Battle against Jiuo Wei. After hearing Zhang Yun say that Yang Xiaoshen was no match for Xiao Fei, Qiandao Academy Vice President Fan Ruquin, Second Elder Zhu Chenhu and others did not speak, which was considered as tacit agreement with Zhang Yun's statement. Although Yang Xiaoshen's double fists sent Hu Xiangqian flying just now were surprising and unexpected, in the eyes of Fan Ruquin and others, Yang Xiaoshen was only in the top 10 at most, and there was still a certain gap compared to Xiao Fei who was in the top 7. Although Hu Xiangqian had the blood of the ancient wild beast, Fan Ruquin and others could see that Hu Xiangqian's blood of the ancient wild beast had just awakened not long ago, so it was not powerful, and was defeated by Yang Xiaoshen. Zihang said, I just don't know what kind of body refining technique Yang Xiaoshen practiced, and his body was so strong. He was very curious about this. He remembered that the body refining techniques of the Divine Sword Academy were not strong. Zhang Yun disagreed. He is only stronger than Hu Xiangqian. If he is compared with the physical bodies of Jiuo Wei and Lin Xiao, he is far behind. If he had fought Jiuo Wei or Lin Xiao in the first match, the result would not be what it is now. If he had fought against Jiuo Wei and Lin Xiao, he would definitely have been blown away by them. Fan Rukwan nodded and said, Yang Xiaoshan's physical body is strong, but compared with Jiuo Wei who practiced the ancient body refining technique, he is still far behind. Amid the discussion, Yang Xiaoshan came to the ring. Xiao Fei looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a stern look in his eyes. Yang Xiaoshan, you are very strong, with the strength of the top 10, and you could have passed the Xiandao Academy admissions assessment this time. But unfortunately, you met me in the second match. The implication was that Yang Xiaoshan was destined to fail the Xiandao Academy admissions assessment this time. Looking at Xiao Fei, who looked confident, Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, you are right, it is indeed a pity. Xiao Fei heard the rebellious meaning in Yang Xiaoshan's words. His face darkened, he snorted coldly, and urged the tyrant Dragonart. Suddenly, an amazing force surged out of his body. 8 amazing air currents appeared around Xiao Fei's body. Each air current was as thick as an arm, entwining Xiao Fei, very spiritual, and faintly visible as a dragon snake. But everyone who saw this scene was surprised. Tyrant Dragonart, the 8th level. Zhang Yun was surprised, and then laughed. I didn't expect that Xiao Fei would actually practice the Tyrant Dragonart to the 8th level. Xiao Fei's 8th level of the Tyrant Dragonart also amazed Zihang, Fan Rukwan and others. The Tyrant Dragonart is second only to Xiao Yang's Quanxing Wuji in power. Over the past hundreds of years, there have been very few people in the Xiandao royal family who have successfully practiced the Tyrant Dragonart, and no one has been able to practice the Tyrant Dragonart to the 8th level at Xiao Fei's age. Fan Rukwan looked at Xiao Fei on the stage and exclaimed, Xiao Fei has unparalleled talent. If he continues to practice like this, he will be able to practice the Tyrant Dragonart to the highest level in 20 years, and become the first person in the Xiandao Empire to practice the Tyrant Dragonart to the highest level. The third elder son Zen also smiled and said, I have taken a fancy to this Xiao Fei. When the time comes, I will accept Xiao Fei as my disciple. Don't fight with me. On the stage, Xiao Fei's aura is still rising, and a big knife appears in his hand. This big knife is the famous treasure of the Xiandao imperial family, the Tyrant Dragon Knife. On the blade, there is a lifelike Tyrannosaurus Rex. In the sun, the Tyrannosaurus Rex seems to come alive. Yang Xiaoshan, don't say I'm bullying you, show me your weapons. Xiao Fei raised the Tyrant Dragon Knife in his hand, and pointed the tip of the knife at Yang Xiaoshan, exuding a domineering aura, which made many girls at the scene excited. I don't need it to deal with you. Yang Xiaoshan shook his head. What? Yang Xiaoshan is going to fight Xiao Fei's dragon saber with his bare hands. Hearing that Yang Xiaoshan would not use any weapons, many academy masters were stunned. Zhang Yun snorted, he is arrogant and conceited. Second elder Zhu Chen who laughed, he just defeated Hu Xianqian, no wonder he is so confident. Confidence is a good thing, but blind confidence is stupid and ignorant. Zhang Yun criticized. When Xiao Fei heard that Yang Xiaoshan was going to block his dragon saber with his bare fists, his face darkened. He suddenly slashed at Yang Xiaoshan from a distance. With a dragon roar, a shocking sword energy flew out like a green wave. The airflow in the ring space was instantly cut in half. Wherever the sword energy passed, the ground of the ring kept breaking. What a perfect Tyrant Dragon Sword technique. Seeing Xiao Fei's Tyrant Dragon Sword technique, Zhang Yun exclaimed, it is indestructible, with the power of a dragon splitting the sky. However, before he finished speaking, he saw Yang Xiaoshan casually punched and blasted away the Tyrant Dragon Sword key that he said was indestructible and had the power to split the sky. Then, Yang Xiaoshan flashed and came in front of Xiao Fei. Xiao Fei only felt a figure flash in front of him, and Yang Xiaoshan had already come in front of him. He was shocked that Yang Xiaoshan's speed was so fast. He didn't have time to think about it, and the Tyrant Dragon Sword in his hand slashed towards Yang Xiaoshan's head. There was a buzzing sound. Under the wave of sword energy, everyone could even see Yang Xiaoshan's hair flying. However, just when the opponent's Tyrant Dragon Sword was about to slash down, Yang Xiaoshan's finger bounced on the Tyrant Dragon Sword. Xiao Fei only felt that the Tyrant Dragon Sword in his hand seemed to be hit by a giant hammer. His arm hurt, and the Tyrant Dragon Sword was bounced out, and he himself was also deflected by this force. Before Xiao Fei could react, Yang Xiaoshan suddenly punched out. The force of the punch hit the 9 true Yuan dragons around Zhao Fei's body. With a loud bang, the 9 true Yuan dragons were all blown up, and Zhao Fei was also blown away, but it was not over yet. Yang Xiaoshan flashed in front of Zhao Fei and kicked him again. Zhao Fei fell on the ring like a meteorite from high altitude. The rubble on the ring rolled. The square was silent. Looking at Zhao Fei, who was smashed on the ring, Li Hang and others were stunned for a long time. Zhang Yun was even more stunned. Is this the end? Is this the end? Zhao Fei, who practiced the Dragon Tyrant art to the 8th level and the supreme supernatural power Dragon Tyrant sword skill to perfection, was knocked down by Yang Xiaoshan with 2 punches and 1 kick. In front of Yang Xiaoshan, Zhao Fei, who was considered by everyone to be ranked 7th in strength, seemed to be a joke. And from beginning to end, Yang Xiaoshan did not even use his supernatural power. Even Ji Yuowei, who was standing far away on the stage, frowned when he saw Zhao Fei being knocked down by Yang Xiaoshan. It seemed that he had underestimated Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan was probably in the top 4. His strength was only second to him, Zhao Yang, and Lin Zhao. Looking at Zhao Fei, who was knocked down, the referee looked suspicious and went forward to carefully check Zhao Fei's injuries. After confirming that Zhao Fei had no strength to fight back, he announced Yang Xiaoshan's victory with a complicated expression. Chin Shanking, he and the other 5 who had been worried all the time all showed happy smiles on their faces when they saw Yang Xiaoshan win. Yang Xiaoshan's 2 consecutive victories meant that Yang Xiaoshan had squeezed into the top 100. It can be said that Yang Xiaoshan had passed the Xiandao Academy admissions assessment. Soon, the other students in the second stage also finished their competitions one after another. In the end, only Yang Xiaoshan and the Son of Thunder passed out of the 10 people from the Shenhe Kingdom. Next, it was the battle of the top 100. This time, Yang Xiaoshan drew number 4, and his opponent in this game was Ji Yuowei. When Ji Yuowei saw that his opponent in this fight was Yang Xiaoshan, he smiled coldly. He had waited for this battle for too long. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143 God Bless Xiandao Academy. Ji Yuowei walked quickly towards the ring. Zhao Yang saw that Yang Xiaoshan was going to fight Ji Yuowei in this match, frowned, and said, I didn't expect Yang Xiaoshan to fight Ji Yuowei in this match. His original intention was to personally deal with Yang Xiaoshan. But now Yang Xiaoshan will lose in the fight with Ji Yuowei, so he will not have the chance to personally deal with Yang Xiaoshan. The guards around him knew Zhao Yang's thoughts and said, Your Highness, even if Yang Xiaoshan loses to Ji Yuowei, you will have plenty of opportunities to teach him a lesson in the future. Anyway, he has passed the Xiandao Academy admissions assessment. After entering Xiandao Academy, it will not be easy for you to abuse him in any way you want. Zhao Yang heard this, nodded and smiled. That's right, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future, and there is no need to rush. Yang Xiaoshan saw Ji Yuowei walking quickly onto the ring, and immediately walked towards the ring. Almost everyone's eyes fell on Yang Xiaoshan and Ji Yuowei. On the rostrum, Zihang, Zhang Yun, Fan Riquan, Zhu Chenhu, Sun Ze and others were also paying attention to the Yang Xiaoshan and Ji Yuowei ring. I didn't expect that Yang Xiaoshan would actually fight against Ji Yuowei. Zihang shook his head and smiled. Everyone has seen Yang Xiaoshan's strength, which is in the top 5. But now that he is fighting against Ji Yuowei, it seems that he can't even make it into the top 10. Fan Riquan smiled and said, although Yang Xiaoshan can't make it into the top 10, this boy deserves to be focused on training. Generally speaking, the top 10 in each enrollment assessment will be focused on by Xiandao Academy. Zhang Yun said, according to the rules, only the top 10 can be focused on by our academy. Since Yang Xiaoshan can't make it into the top 10, he can't be focused on training. And his strength is improved by taking drugs. Such a student will hardly achieve anything in the future. Sun Ze also said, the elder is right. Since he can't make it into the top 10, he can't be listed as a key training student. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the talent like his sister, and he doesn't even have a 12th level martial spirit. Otherwise, we can make an exception for him. In the past, the academy also made exceptions. In the enrollment assessment, if a student did not make it into the top 10, but had a martial spirit above the 12th level, the academy would also make an exception and list him as a key training student. Zhang He, the dean of Zuanbing Academy, smiled coldly when he saw Yang Xiaoshan was going to fight Jiuo Wei. Zuanbing Academy has always been on good terms with Wuding Academy. Jiuo Wei had just promised him that, if he met Yang Xiaoshan, he would beat Yang Xiaoshan like a dog. Guzi, the prince of Gujiang Kingdom, also shook his head when he saw Yang Xiaoshan fighting Jiuo Wei. Chen Shanking, He Lei and others looked at Yang Xiaoshan and Jiuo Wei on the ring and smiled bitterly. It would be great if their hall master could meet someone else, but he had to meet Jiuo Wei, who was the strongest. On the ring, Jiuo Wei stood with his hands behind his back, looking at Yang Xiaoshan opposite him, grinning. Yang Xiaoshan, you didn't expect to meet me, did you? Yang Xiaoshan said calmly, to me, there is no difference between you and Hu Xianqian. As soon as Yang Xiaoshan said this, everyone on the scene reacted violently. Yang Xiaoshan is too arrogant. He dares to look down on Jiuo Wei like this. Who does he think he is? Even Xiao Yang and Lin Xiao dare not look down on Jiuo Wei. Now all kinds of voices were in uproar. Even Zihong, the dean of Xiandao Academy, frowned, thinking that Yang Xiaoshan's words were too much. Zhang Yan even snorted, you ignorant boy. You don't even know if you can take Jiuo Wei's punch later, but you dare to speak so arrogantly. Fan Riquan, Zhu Chenhu and others also shook their heads. Obviously, they also felt that Yang Xiaoshan was too arrogant. Chen Shanking, He Lei and others were also speechless. Jiuo Wei laughed in anger. Yang Xiaoshan actually compared him with Hu Xianqian. Okay, Yang Xiaoshan, I want to see if you really have such strength and regard me as Hu Xianqian. Jiuo Wei laughed loudly, and his whole body's true energy was fully activated. A might that shocked the world emanated from him. Late 7th level of Wu Wang. In the previous few games, Jiuo Wei did not show his true realm in the battle. Now seeing Jiuo Wei's realm, everyone was greatly shocked. Even Lin Xiao and Xiao Yang were quite surprised. On the rostrum, Zihong, Zhang Yan, Fan Riquan and others were also surprised. They had presided over so many Xiandao Academy admissions examinations, but this was the first time they saw a student reach the 7th level late stage of the Martial King. Unparalleled genius. Zhang Yan exclaimed, very excited. Jiuo Wei is indeed a genius reincarnated from a god. This boy will definitely become a god after being trained by our academy. Protect our academy then. A god is definitely the overlord of the Kangshen continent. With the protection of a god, Xiandao Academy can be guaranteed to last for 10,000 years. Zihong was also excited. This boy, I will accept him as my disciple, and I will teach him personally. Fan Riquan smiled and said, with the dean teaching him, he will definitely become a peerless sword god of the generation. Zihong laughed, showing his excitement. Even Yang Xiaoshan was surprised that Jiuo Wei was in the 7th level late stage of the Martial King. The 7th level late stage of the Martial King? Yang Xiaoshan was eager to fight, and he just wanted to use Jiuo Wei to test his current combat power. After Jiuo Wei showed his Martial King 7th stage, suddenly, lightning flashed all over his body. Lightning fell from the sky. These lightning wrapped around Jiuo Wei, and the amazing power of lightning rushed to the surrounding heaven and earth. All the disciples around him were shocked and retreated. This is the ancient thunder god art, the first ancient body refining art. Zihong saw this scene, stood up suddenly and exclaimed, what, the ancient thunder god art? Many academy masters and sect masters were shocked. The ancient thunder god art, the first ancient body refining art, is said to be practiced to the peak state, and can be transformed into the thunder god, with an invincible body and immortal. Everyone knew that Jiuo Wei practiced the ancient body refining art, and his body was invincible, but no one knew that he practiced the ancient thunder god art. Now seeing that Jiuo Wei was practicing the first ancient body refining art, everyone was boiling. Good. God bless my Xiandao Academy, there is such a genius joining my Xiandao Academy. Zihong was very excited. He has always been calm, but today, seeing Guowen's talent and extraordinary talent, it is hard not to be excited. Zhang Yun, Fan Ruquan and others were also very excited. Guowen, who practiced the ancient thunder god art, has a body that is absolutely perfect. With such a perfect body, it will be twice as easy to practice any swordsmanship and any magical power of Xiandao Academy in the future. Guowen used all his strength to activate the ancient thunder god art, and the lightning of the 9 heavens kept falling, like a lightning snake wrapped around his body. He felt the huge power of his body, stared at Yang Zai Ocean with lightning in his eyes, and said, "Yang Zai Ocean, didn't you say that you regarded me as Huzianqian? Now, let me see if you can take my punch." After saying that, he flashed, as fast as lightning, came in front of Yang Zai Ocean, and punched directly. When Guowen punched, lightning filled the sky. Guowen seemed to be a thunder god, and wherever he went, thunder would follow. The infinite power of lightning and thunder, along with Guowen's fist power, hit Yang Zai Ocean's chest. His eyes were fierce, and he wanted to blow Yang Zai Ocean to pieces with one punch. Chapter 144 Heavenly Sword Golden Emperor Sword. Yang Zai Ocean actually dared to despise him, and even dared to regard him as Huzianqian. This was simply an unforgivable crime. He was the reincarnation of a god, the unparalleled genius in the history of Wuding Academy, and was even praised as someone who would become a god in the future. Yang Zai Ocean, you dare to blaspheme the gods, die. The more Guowen thought about it, the angrier he became, and the more he thought about it, the more he urged all his strength. Seeing that the power of thunder was about to drown Yang Zai Ocean, at this moment, Yang Zai Ocean, who was standing there, suddenly punched out. When Yang Zai Ocean punched out, a sky-shaking dragon roar resounded through the world. A terrifying dragon might rushed from Yang Zai Ocean and covered the 9 heavens. This terrifying dragon might actually overshadowed the 9-day thunder might on Guowen. When the sky-shaking dragon roar sounded, everyone felt their hearts and minds shaken, and their souls were all shaken. Even Zihang and others were no exception. Under the shocked eyes of Zihang and others, more than 100 dragons of true essence were seen blasting out with Yang Zai Ocean's fist power. Looking at the more than 100 dragons of true essence in the sky, everyone in the square stared with their eyes wide open. Boom. Yang Zai Ocean's flesh fists collided with Guowen's flesh fists. The 100 dragons hit the 9 heavens thunder snake on Guowen's body. It was as if the world exploded, and a huge explosion sounded. When Yang Zai Ocean's flesh fists collided with Guowen's flesh fists, Guowen felt that he was hit by an ancient dragon. The huge force that made his heart palpitate knocked him back like a piece of debris. Guowen experienced the feeling of being blown away for the first time. When Guowen hit the ring, the corner of the ring he hit was completely shattered and collapsed. The world was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone who was excited just now, all froze there. Zihan from Xiandao Academy, who had just excitedly said "God bless me," stared at Guowen, not daring to believe what he saw. Originally, he and everyone thought that Guowen's punch was enough to blow Yang Zai Ocean away, and one punch was enough to decide the outcome. But the one who was blown away was Guowen, who had practiced the ancient thunder god art, and was in the late 7th level of the martial king. Lin Zio and Zio Yang were dumbfounded. Chen Shanking, He and other elders of the sword hall were also stunned. This is impossible, Zhang Yun said with an ugly face, as if it was him who was blown away. They could imagine how strong Guowen, who practiced the ancient thunder god art, was physically, but he was actually no match for Yang Zai Ocean's physical body. Fan Riquin, Zhu Chenhu, Sun Tzu and others opened their mouths, not knowing how to describe their feelings at the moment. Even Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. He didn't expect that he would be so powerful even with 80% of his strength when he used the beginning dragon art. The beginning dragon art is worthy of being the top level skill of the ancient dragon clan. The ancient thunder god art, the strongest ancient body refining art, is weak in front of it. In the dead silence of the crowd, Guowen struggled to get up from the ground of the ring. Guowen's Wuding Academy battle robe had been blown to pieces, as if it had been blown up by a terrifying force. Guowen looked at Yang Zai Ocean in fear with his hair disheveled. He had never lost a single battle. He had always been invincible. But now, Facing Yang Zai Ocean, he felt a fear he had never felt before. He looked at Yang Zai Ocean in doubt. Just now, Yang Zai Ocean's fist had actually blasted out 100 dragons of true essence. What kind of dragon clan technique was this? He was practicing the ancient thunder god technique, which was the strongest ancient body refining technique. What kind of dragon clan technique was stronger than his ancient thunder god technique? Just now, when he was fighting against Yang Zai Ocean, he only felt that his indestructible iron fist had hit the claws of the ancient dragon clan. Now, his 5 fingers were still trembling with pain. Jiuo Wei took a deep breath and suppressed the fear in his heart. His eyes were cold. Yang Zai Ocean, I didn't use my full strength just now. Your martial spirit is not as good as mine. Your elm is not as good as mine. And your magical powers are not as good as mine. I don't believe that I will lose. At this point, the light behind Jiuo Wei surged strongly, and a huge golden lion appeared behind him. This golden lion is like a mountain. The arena is big enough, but when the golden giant lion appears, everyone suddenly feels that the arena has become smaller. Golden Lion King. Many strong men are shocked. Golden Lion King, the strongest king of the lion monsters, the top level 12 martial spirit. This is Jiuo Wei's martial spirit. Golden Lion King is not an ordinary top level 12 martial spirit. There are also strong and weak top level 12 martial spirits. Even among many top level 12 martial spirits, Golden Lion King is definitely in the top 10. Yes, Golden Lion King. Jiuo Wei's voice is cold and arrogant. Under the light of the Golden Lion King, his whole body seems to be coated with a layer of golden light. From a distance, the tall Jiuo Wei looks like an ancient golden beast god. At this time, a golden longsword appeared in Jiuo Wei's hand. When the golden longsword appeared, a ray of golden sword light refracted around, and everyone actually felt as if their skin was cut open. An imperial power ravaged the world. Everyone was terrified. This is the heavenly sword, the golden emperor sword. Zihang, Zhang Yun and others were all shocked and exclaimed. The sword in Jiuo Wei's hand was the golden emperor sword, which ranked 110th on the heavenly sword list. Although it was only the 110th heavenly sword, it was enough to shock everyone present. The martial spirit world is vast and boundless, and there are countless geniuses, but the number of geniuses who can control the heavenly sword and be recognized as the master by the heavenly sword can be counted. Take the Shenlong Empire for example. In the entire Shenlong Empire, there are less than a palm of the hand who can control the heavenly sword. The Shenlong Empire is counted, and in some empires, no one can even control the heavenly sword. And now, Jiuo Wei has actually been recognized as the master of the Golden Emperor Sword and controls the Golden Emperor Sword. Unparalleled genius in 10,000 years. Zihang was even more excited than when he saw Jiuo Wei perform the ancient thunder god art just now. As the dean of Xiandao Academy, he certainly knew how difficult it was to be recognized as the master by the heavenly sword. There are enough geniuses in Xiandao Academy, but no one can be recognized as the master by the heavenly sword. Being recognized as the master by the heavenly sword and being able to control the heavenly sword shows that Jiuo Wei's talent in swordsmanship is absolutely amazing. Chen Shanking, Heilei and others were also shocked to see that Jiuo Wei was recognized as the master by the Golden Emperor Sword. Although the whole master's talent in swordsmanship is also amazing, he has not been recognized as the master by the heavenly sword, right? Golden Emperor Sword. Yang Zai Ocean looked at the Golden Emperor Sword in Jiuo Wei's hand and was surprised. One of the reasons why he entered Xiandao Academy was for the dragon controlling sword of Xiandao Academy. He didn't expect that Jiuo Wei also had a heavenly sword in his hand. Yes, the heavenly sword Golden Emperor Sword. Jiuo Wei looked at Yang Zai Ocean arrogantly and coldly. Yang Zai Ocean, show your sword. Then he pointed the sword at Yang Zai Ocean. Seeing Jiuo Wei's arrogant look, Yang Zai Ocean did not summon the Tangshan Divine Sword. The sword energy in his body was rioting, and 100 super treasure swords appeared behind him. When the 100 super treasure swords appeared behind Yang Zai Ocean like a peacock spreading its tail, amazing sword energy went straight into the sky. Hundreds of sword beams, under the sunlight, made everyone feel blinded. Everyone was stunned when they saw the 100 super long swords behind Yang Zai Ocean. Super treasure long swords. 100. Today, the editor-in-chief sent me another message, saying that the performance of this book is very good, and asked me to hold on. Brothers, let's hold on together and charge forward. Chapter 145. What if I take your sword? If it was 100 top-level treasure swords, people would not be so shocked. The key is that Yangtze Ocean's 100 treasure swords are super. Top-level treasures are rare, but there are still some. But super treasures are extremely rare. It is difficult to see one at ordinary times. Now, Yangtze Ocean has 100 of them. How can he have so many super treasures? Fan Ruquan's eyes widened. Generally speaking, only when the level of refining reaches the level of the top 10 divine craftsmen can a super treasure be refined. Zhu Chen, who was surprised, and asked, could it be that Ko Shun left it behind? Ko Shun, as the founder of the Divine Sword Academy, has been studying swordsmanship all his life, and he loves to collect various treasure swords. Zihang nodded and said, I'm afraid it is. Ko Shun left the Sword Hall inheritance in the Divine Sword Academy, and Yangtze Ocean got Ko Shun's Sword Hall inheritance. It is rumored that there are various treasure swords left by Ko Shun in the Sword Hall inheritance. It seems to be true. On the ring, Jiuo Wei was also stunned. He asked Yangtze Ocean to show his sword, but he didn't expect Yangtze Ocean to show 100 super treasure swords directly. He glanced at the 100 super treasure swords behind Yangtze Ocean and said in a cold voice, the value of a sword lies in its quality, not in its quantity. One is enough. Yangtze Ocean, so what if you have 100 super treasure swords? They are all garbage in front of my golden emperor sword. Now, watch me cut off your 100 super treasure swords. Having said this, he jumped up and swung the golden emperor sword. Suddenly, the emperor's power was strong. Along with the golden light, an amazing sword light instantly cut through the ring space and slashed in front of Yangtze Ocean. Yangtze Ocean waved his hand and saw the 100 super treasure swords turned into dragons, hitting the opponent's sword light with incredible accuracy. Then, under Yangtze Ocean's control, the 100 swords broke through the air and turned into an extremely huge sword pillar, which instantly came to Jiuo Wei's head and then slammed down with a rotating momentum. 100 long swords were so fast that Jiuo Wei's sword light was just blasted away, and before he could make the second move, the huge sword column slammed down on his head. Jiuo Wei's face changed drastically in fear, and he rolled on the ground. As soon as he rolled to the side, he saw the sword column hit the ground, where he had just stood. Boom. A sword hole several meters in size was blasted out on the ground of the ring. Looking at the sword hole several meters in size, Jiuo Wei felt his scalp tingling. If he hadn't dodged quickly just now, I'm afraid that now, a sword hole several meters in size would have been blasted directly on his body. What kind of scene would it be if a sword hole several meters in size was blasted out on his body? The people around the ring looked at Jiuo Wei on the ring, but their faces were weird, because although Jiuo Wei had dodged Yangtze Ocean's sword column just now, he was cut on the scalp by the sword energy. Jiuo Wei felt the gazes of the crowd and couldn't help but touch the place where his scalp was numb just now, only to find that the place was smooth as silk, but he couldn't touch any hair. Jiuo Wei didn't know what was going on. He was furious. Yangtze Ocean, I will kill you. He turned the golden emperor sword in his hand. In a turn, several golden sword ki shot towards Yangtze Ocean. Each sword ki was extremely fast, and many masters could hardly see it clearly. But Yangtze Ocean waved his hand and saw several sword ki shot out, defeating Jiuo Wei's sword ki. Your sword is too slow. Yangtze Ocean finished speaking. His fingers were like swords, and a sword ki shot straight out, which was more than twice as fast as Jiuo Wei's sword ki just now. Looking at the sword ki coming at him, Jiuo Wei was shocked and turned sideways, but he was still half a step slower, and his right ear was pierced by Yangtze Ocean's sword ki. Jiuo Wei covered his pierced right ear, furious, and swung the golden emperor sword in his hand. Suddenly, a burst of golden sword ki turned into many sword waves, hitting Yangtze Ocean. But at this time, 100 long swords were like a violent rain, blasting through the golden sword waves. Then, 100 long swords dispersed, and each sword actually struck out a sword move. 100 swords, that is, 100 different sword moves. The sky was full of sword energy, pointing directly at Jiuo Wei. Jiuowei was on the ring, looking at the hundreds of sword moves and sword energy that were flooding in, his face pale, and he kept turning the golden emperor sword in his hand in fear. On the rostrum, Zihang, Fan Ruquan and others watched the competition between Yang Xiaoshan and Jiuowei. The more they watched, the more uncomfortable they felt. Jiuowei, the supreme sword genius who was favored by all the top leaders of their Xiandao Academy, was actually abused by Yang Xiaoshan to such a level that he could hardly even parry. Is this really the supreme sword genius that all their top leaders favored? Seeing the expressions of Zihang and others, Zhang Yun explained, Jiuowei has not had time to display the supreme magical sword technique. As long as he displays the perfect supreme magical sword technique, Yang Xiaoshan will definitely lose. Bang! At this time, there was a tremor on the ring, and Jiuowei was hit by Yang Xiaoshan's sword. He was lying on the edge of the ring again, covered in blood, and could not get up for a long time. Zhang Yun was choked. Jiuowei could not get up for a long time. When the referee was about to step forward to check Jiuowei's injuries, he saw Jiuowei, covered in blood, trembling and standing up. He was actually emitting blood like lightning, flames all over his body. Jiuowei's aura continued to rise again. Lightning condensed and formed a sea of thunder. Jiuowei's ancient thunder god technique has broken through. He said in surprise. Zhang Yun and the masters of Wuding Academy were all excited when they saw this. It is extremely difficult to break through the ancient strongest body refining technique like the ancient thunder god technique. Once it breaks through, the strength will definitely increase dramatically. Jiuowei's strength has increased dramatically, so it is hard to say who will win. Jiuowei felt the violent thunder and lightning power in his body, and his whole body robe moved without wind. Yang Xiaoshan, take my sword. His eyes were fierce, and the golden emperor sword struck out. When Jiuowei struck out with this sword, yin and yang reversed, time and space turned upside down, and everyone had an illusion that the sky became the earth, and the earth became the sky. Supreme magical power Samsara sword technique. The realm of perfection. A sword master recognized Jiuowei's sword at a glance and exclaimed, Supreme magical power Samsara sword technique. The realm of perfection. Everyone was shocked. Jiuowei actually cultivated Samsara sword technique to the realm of perfection. Even Chen Shanking was shocked. Samsara sword technique is not an ordinary supreme magical power, but an extremely supreme magical power. He had also come into contact with Samsara sword technique in the past, but he knew the power of this sword. Being hit by the Samsara sword energy, the blood in the body flowed backwards, and the 7 orifices bled to death. What if I take your sword? Yang Xiaoshan waved his hand, and 100 long swords suddenly merged into a long sword, and he struck out with a sword. Suddenly, there were thousands of sword energies. In the thousands of sword energies, the sun and the moon rose and fell, thousands of beasts appeared, mountains and rivers reappeared, and all things in the world were in it. The sword energies of the two collided with each other. There were continuous explosions. When the sword energy of the two men dissipated, the ring was cut beyond recognition by the sword energy of the two men. Jiuowei also retreated again and again, and the lightning on his body was dim. His already tattered battle robe was cut into strips by the sword energy. Seeing Jiuowei retreating again and again, with blood flowing from the corners of his mouth, everyone was stunned. Jiuowei's perfect realm of reincarnation swordsmanship was still defeated. What was that just now? Fan Ruquan recalled Yang Xiaoshan's sword just now, and was confused. Wangxiang swordsmanship. Zihang said in an extremely solemn tone. And it was the perfect realm. Chapter 146 Lost. After hearing Zihang say that Yang Xiaoshan had just used the Wangxiang sword technique, Fan Ruquan, Zhang Yun, Zhu Chenhu, Sun Ze and others were all shocked. Hundreds of years ago, there was a Jianmen master who used the Wangxiang sword technique to defeat almost all opponents in the Xiandao Empire. However, the Jianmen master suddenly disappeared for some reason. The Wangxiang sword technique also disappeared for hundreds of years. Wangxiang sword technique. It was left by Kao Shun again. I didn't expect that Kao Shun actually got the Wangxiang sword technique. Fan Ruquan exclaimed. Jiuowei touched the blood on the corner of his mouth. His face showed a crazy look, and a kind of blood was burning all over his body. His aura rose again. Obviously, he used some kind of taboo method to forcibly improve his cultivation. Yang Xiaoshan, I don't believe that I will lose to you. I can't lose to you. Jiuo Wen's eyes were bloodshot, and the Golden Emperor sword struck out again. Take my second sword. Jiuo Wen roared. He struck out with a sword, and a dazzling sword energy flew out. This dazzling sword energy is like the bright light of the stars in the sky, and like the brilliance of ancient gems. It is so dazzling and amazing. Brilliant swordsmanship. Zihang, Zhang Yun and others said in unison. The owner of the Golden Emperor sword 1,000 years ago was the Golden Emperor. The brilliant swordsmanship is the supreme magical power created by the Golden Emperor. The Golden Emperor challenged the Holy Realm with his Emperor body and defeated the Holy Realm. How amazing it was. So he was also hailed as one of the 10 most powerful emperors in the Shenlong Empire in the past 1,000 years. Even after 1,000 years, people still admired the Golden Emperor. Now, the brilliant swordsmanship that Jiuo Wei used was also perfect. The brilliant swordsmanship is so strong that it is said that even the hardest refined iron in the world can be cut with one sword. Looking at the incoming brilliant sword energy, Yang Xiaoshan swung the long sword in his hand again. When Yang Xiaoshan swung the long sword, the surrounding heaven and earth actually paused, as if the heaven and earth had been hit hard. Sword energy flew out one after another. These sword ki seemed to be in disarray, but when they gathered together, they formed a mysterious pattern. Boom. Yang Xiaoshan's sword ki collided with the dazzling sword ki again. The dazzling sword ki, which was said to be able to cut even the hardest refined iron in the world with a sword, was instantly defeated and exploded without a trace. And Yang Xiaoshan's sword ki pattern blasted towards Jiuo Wei with a force that could sweep everything away. Jiuo Wei was shocked and swung the Golden Emperor sword in his hand. Sword ki condensed into a sword wall, trying to block Yang Xiaoshan's sword ki pattern, but it was useless. Yang Xiaoshan's sword ki pattern instantly penetrated through. At the last moment, Jiuo Wei summoned a golden shield. This golden shield had runes flowing on the shield body, and it had an amazing imperial power. But Yang Xiaoshan's sword ki pattern hit the golden shield. Suddenly, the golden shield was knocked away, and Jiuo Wei was knocked back again and again, spitting blood. Jiuo Wei supported himself on the ground with his sword, so he did not fall down. Everyone at the scene watched the scene with deep shock. There is no doubt that Jiuo Wei is strong and talented in swordsmanship. The Samsara sword technique and the brilliant sword technique are both perfect. However, no matter how strong Jiuo Wei is, no matter how good Jiuo Wei's swordsmanship is, he was always defeated by Yang Xiaoshan. He was defeated miserably. Heaven-shaking sword technique. Fan Rukun recalled Yang Xiaoshan's sword just now and exclaimed. The heaven-shaking sword technique is more famous than the 10,000 phases sword technique. And the heaven-shaking sword technique that Yang Xiaoshan just used is also perfect. Is there a third sword? Yang Xiaoshan walked towards Jiuo Wei with a sword. The third sword? Everyone's eyes fell on Jiuo Wei. Jiuo Wei grinned. His smile was ferocious. Okay, I'll show you my third sword. Sword of Senluo Hell. He said slowly, and the Golden Emperor sword in his hand struck out crazily. Hearing Jiuo Wei's sword of Senluo Hell, Zihang and others changed their faces. Could it be? Jiuo Wei's sword came out, the sky and the earth changed color, and the sword wind whimpered, as if it came out of hell. This is the sword of hell, and also the sword of death. Seeing this sword, everyone was terrified. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshan struck out with a long sword in his hand at the same time. With one sword, everything was slaughtered. No matter how powerful the existence in the world is, it seems that it will be slaughtered by this sword. Jiuo Wei's Senluo Hell sword ki was also penetrated by Yang Xiaoshan's sword energy, and was completely slaughtered, leaving no drop. The sword energy of slaughtering hit Jiuo Wei. Jiuo Wei was thrown up from the ring, and smashed on the ground of the square. The battle robe on his body was completely shattered. Yang Xiaoshan stood on the ring, and looked at the opponent. Is there a fourth sword? Jiuo Wei raised his head, and tried to hold the sword, but the last bit of strength was used up, and he collapsed there and fainted. Everyone in the square was shocked. Jiuo Wei's 3 swords were all perfect, but they were all completely crushed by Yang Xiaoshan's 3 swords. Lose. The students of Wooding College looked at Guowen, who was blasted out of the ring and fainted there, and they were all dejected, discouraged and sad. Guowen has always been a mountain that all the students of Wooding Academy admire. But now, this mountain has fallen, not fallen, but lying there like a dead dog. Xiao Yang and Lin Xiao looked at Guowen lying there, and they couldn't calm down for a long time. Before the competition began, they always regarded Guowen as the final opponent, but now, Guowen was lying there. Xiao Yang, who had threatened to see if Yang Xiaoshan was as powerful as the rumors said, was even more silent. Although he had cultivated the infinite power of the stars, and although his martial soul was the god of ancient astrology, his strength was definitely not stronger than Guowen. Even Guowen was blasted into a dead dog, so if he met Yang Xiaoshan later, would he force himself, or just admit defeat? Xiao Yang's face changed. In the second battle of the top 100, Yang Xiaoshan met a disciple of the Ancient Sword Academy. The Ancient Sword Academy is the first academy of the Ancient Sword country. This disciple is not weak, but when he saw that his opponent was Yang Xiaoshan, he admitted defeat without saying a word. Then came the third and fourth games. Soon, the top 10 came out. The Son of Thunder could only enter the top 20. Yang Xiaoshan, Xiao Yang, and Lin Xiao all entered the top 10. However, after entering the top 10, Yang Xiaoshan's first opponent was Lin Xiao, who had a 1,000-fold divine body. Everyone was excited when they saw that Yang Xiaoshan's first battle in the top 10 was against Lin Xiao. What do you think of this battle? Zihang asked the senior leaders of Xiandao Academy. This time, Zhang Yan was silent. Sun Tzu pondered and said, Lin Xiao's 1,000-fold divine body is born with divine power, and his defense is invincible. It is said that no one in the same realm can break it. He should not lose. But at the end, even he was not confident. After all, the scene of Yang Xiaoshan punching Guowen was too shocking. Under the gaze of everyone, Yang Xiaoshan and Lin Xiao came to the ring. Lin Xiao looked at Yang Xiaoshan and said confidently, Yang Xiaoshan, you are indeed very strong. So strong that it is abnormal, but today, I will win. After speaking, he silently chanted a spell, and saw the void cracked, and a giant beast walked out of it. Lin Xiao is not only powerful, but also a beast master with great talent. The giant beast he subdued is a giant ape at the 8th level of the Martial King realm. And it is at the late 8th level of the Martial King realm. Chapter 147 Get out of the way. Beast Tamer. Zihang, Zhang Yan, Fan Rukun and others were all shocked. Lin Xiao was actually a beast tamer. This was something no one had expected. Moreover, the monster controlled by Lin Xiao had reached the 8th late stage of the Martial King. Lin Xiao himself was a 7th mid stage of the Martial King, but he could control a monster of the 8th late stage of the Martial King. This shows how strong Lin Xiao's talent for beast taming is. Without a strong enough talent for beast taming, it would be impossible to control a monster stronger than himself. But Lin Xiao did it. Great. Zhang Yan was very happy, and said with a smile, I didn't expect that Lin Xiao was actually such a talented beast tamer. It's really a big surprise. This time, Lin Xiao will definitely win first place. No matter what the reason was, he didn't want Yang Xiaoshan to win first place. Zihang also shook his head. Originally, everyone thought that Yang Xiaoshan would be the first in this enrollment, but in the end, Lin Xiao turned out to be such a powerful beast tamer. The monster of the 8th late stage of the Martial King alone was enough for Yang Xiaoshan to drink a pot. Add to that a Lin Xiao who had a 1,000-fold divine body and invincible defense. Yang Xiaoshan had almost no chance of winning. At this time, Guowen, who was knocked unconscious by Yang Xiaoshan, had been treated by everyone in Wooding Academy, and had woken up. Seeing Lin Xiao summon the late 8th level Martial King monster, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. For him, it was better for Lin Xiao to win first place than for Yang Xiaoshan to win first place. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan on the ring, gloating, Yang Xiaoshan, even if you beat me, in the end, you still can't get first place. At this time, the giant ape summoned by Lin Xiao suddenly roared to the sky, shocking everyone's mind. The roar of the giant ape actually had the power to penetrate the soul. An astonishing beast's power filled the world. Everyone was shocked. What kind of ape is this? A family disciple was shocked. On the rostrum, Zihang looked at Lin Xiao's giant ape, and the more he looked at it, the more shocked he was. This is the ancient beast Zhu Yan. As soon as Zihang said this, Zhang Yun, Fan Riquan, Zhu Chenhu and others were shocked. What? The ancient beast Zhu Yan? They observed carefully, and sure enough, the giant ape behind Lin Xiao looked very much like the beast Zhu Yan mentioned in the ancient book. The ancient fierce beast Zhu Yan has a white head and red feet, and a huge tail, while the giant ape in front of Lin Xiao also has a white head and red feet, and a huge tail. When the strong men from all sides of the square heard that Lin Xiao's giant ape was the ancient fierce beast Zhu Yan, they were all in an uproar. Although the fierce beast Zhu Yan is not a divine beast, its bloodline is also very strong. It was famous in ancient times, and was the closest to the divine beast. Yes, my monster is the fierce beast Zhu Yan. When everyone was discussing, Lin Xiao spoke. After Lin Xiao confirmed it, Zhang Yun was surprised. It is indeed the fierce beast Zhu Yan. The fierce beast Zhu Yan has infinite strength and extremely sharp claws. With one claw, it can split the mountain. Yang Xiaoshan will definitely lose. It seems that Yang Xiaoshan is going to lose. The students of Wuding Academy sneered. Yang Xiaoshan thought he could win the first place, but now, his plan is going to fail. The students of the God of War Academy cheered, and were very excited. In the shock of everyone, Lin Xiao and the fierce beast Zhu Yan walked towards Yang Xiaoshan. Zhu Yan was tall, like a small mountain. Every time he took a step, the arena was shaking. Yang Xiaoshan, if you are a beast master, you can also summon the monster. Lin Xiao said. Obviously, he was clearly bullying Yang Xiaoshan, because he didn't have monster. Yang Xiaoshan thought of the Azure Thunder Python and shook his head. No need. If he summoned the Azure Thunder Python, he was afraid that the situation would get out of control. By then, he was afraid that even the Dragon Empire would be alarmed. Hearing Yang Xiaoshan say no, Lin Xiao said, it's okay, if you have a monster, you can summon it. He determined that Yang Xiaoshan didn't have monster. He determined that Yang Xiaoshan couldn't summon a monster, and wanted to make Yang Xiaoshan look bad. Yang Xiaoshan could see what Lin Xiao was thinking. What are you talking about? Do it. Yang Xiaoshan's eyes turned cold, and he walked towards Lin Xiao. You have subdued such a garbage, and you have the nerve to show it off. What? Garbage? Everyone was stunned when they heard Yang Xiaoshan scolding Lin Xiao, and saying that Lin Xiao's monster was garbage. This Yang Xiaoshan is so arrogant. Zhang Yun was furious. You don't know how high the sky is, and how thick the earth is. That was the ancient fierce beast Zhu Yan, the closest thing to a divine beast, but Yang Xiaoshan actually said it was trash. Zhang Yun was really furious. Zihang, Fan Riquan and others also shook their heads. Yang Xiaoshan, who the hell do you think you are? A student from the God of War Academy couldn't help but said angrily, wait and see senior brother Lin Xiao Zhu Yan abuse you so badly that you can't even recognize your own mother. On the stage, Lin Xiao was also furious and yelled at the fierce beast Zhu Yan beside him, go, blast him to death. The fierce beast Zhu Yan beside him roared and rushed towards Yang Xiaoshan. Although Zhu Yan was huge, it was very fast. It came in front of Yang Xiaoshan in a moment of distraction, and its huge and extremely sharp claws slapped Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan was weak and small, and in front of the giant claws of Zhu Yan, he was just a tiny thing. Seeing that Zhu Yan's sharp claws were about to beat Yang Xiaoshan into a meat pie on the ring, suddenly, the extremely violent Zhu Yan's giant claws suddenly stopped in midair. Then, Zhu Yan retreated with a look of fear, looking at Yang Xiaoshan in horror. This sudden scene surprised everyone. What's going on? Zhu Yan's attack actually stopped? Even Lin Xiao was surprised. He didn't understand what was going on. He could only sense that Zhu Yan was very afraid of Yang Xiaoshan. But what was he afraid of? Yang Xiaoshan walked towards Zhu Yan. At this moment, suddenly, the terrified Zhu Yan beast knelt down in fear and trembled. Seeing that Zhu Yan beast actually knelt down to Yang Xiaoshan, everyone was confused. What kind of operation is this? Isn't Zhu Yan Lin Xiao's monster? Why is he kneeling to Yang Xiaoshan instead? Yang Xiaoshan looked at the trembling Zhu Yan. Of course, he knew what Zhu Yan was afraid of, because at the moment of its attack, it felt the breath of the king of the divine beasts, the Azure Thunder Python, on him. Sensing the terrifying existence of the Azure Thunder Python, Lin Xiao saw that the beast Zhu Yan, whom he controlled, actually knelt down to Yang Xiaoshan, and his face was extremely ugly. He shouted, "Get up!" At the same time, he frantically activated the blood sacrifice technique to control Zhu Yan, but no matter how he roared, or how he activated the blood sacrifice technique, it was useless. Zhu Yan was still trembling and crawling on the ground. Yang Xiaoshan came in front of Zhu Yan, and kicked him out of the ring. "Get out of the way." Zhu Yan, who was as big as a hill, let Yang Xiaoshan kick him away, and fell under the ring. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them in shock. They watched in shock as Zhu Yan was kicked out of the ring by Yang Xiaoshan like garbage. Zihang, Zhang Yun, Jiuo Wei and others were all dumbfounded. Yang Xiaoshan kicked Zhu Yan away, and looked at Lin Xiao. Just now Zhu Yan was still there, occupying most of the ring space, but now Zhu Yan is gone. Lin Xiao is standing on the ring, all alone. Awesome. Chapter 148. Now, it's your turn. Lin Xiao, who had just called on Yang Xiaoshan to summon his monster beast, turned pale when he saw Yang Xiaoshan looking at him. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan and was actually afraid. Before this, he was full of confidence. He even thought that he didn't even need to do anything. His monster beast Zhu Yan could easily deal with Yang Xiaoshan. But what about now? Zhu Yan was lying on the bottom of the ring with his butt raised. It was not clear whether he was really dead or pretending to be dead. "Now, it's your turn," Yang Xiaoshan said. Lin Xiao tried to be calm, but he was still timid. He pointed his knife at Yang Xiaoshan. "Yang Xiaoshan, even if there is no Zhu Yan monster beast, I can still defeat you." When he said this, divine light emerged from his whole body. Every inch of his skin was gushing out rays of divine light. This is the 1,000-layered divine body. A monstrous divine power, overwhelming the heavens. Wherever the divine power swept past, everyone actually felt like they were worshipping him. "Take my sword, Lingshan Tyrant Sword." Lin Xiao shouted and slashed with his sword. I saw an unrivaled sword energy, cutting through the layers of space, and slashing in front of Yang Xiaoshan. Lingshan Tyrant Blade. Many academy elders were shocked when they saw Lin Xiao's Lingshan Tyrant Blade. Lingshan Tyrant Blade is the famous skill of Lingshan War God, the founder of the War God Academy. It is a top-notch supreme magical power. In the past, Lingshan War God defeated countless strong men with this Tyrant Blade. Almost no one could block his two swords. There is a legend that when Lingshan War God Tyrant Blade comes out, all demons retreat. Although it is exaggerated, it can also be seen that Lingshan Tyrant Blade is strong. And now Lin Xiao's Lingshan Tyrant Blade has also been cultivated to the perfect state. The Tyrant Blade of the perfect state has the power of 10,000 men. Looking at the Lingshan Tyrant Blade sword energy, Yang Xiaoshan's long sword disappeared, and a big sword appeared. This big sword is also a super treasure he refined. He raised the big sword, and slashed it casually. When Yang Xiaoshan slashed it, there were tens of thousands of sword energies. 10,000 swords. Seeing the 10,000 sword key slashed out by Yang Xiaoshan, Zihang remembered a supreme magical power that had been lost for many years. 10,000 swords is also one of the 11 supreme magical powers left by Kao Shun. The sword key of the 10,000 swords of the perfect realm slammed into the sword key of the tyrant sword. The sword key burst out, dazzling and incomparable. The sword key of the tyrant sword was blasted away, and the sword key of the 10,000 swords drove straight in and instantly slashed at Lin Xiao. When the sword key of the 10,000 swords hit, the treasure armor on Lin Xiao's body was immediately chopped and exploded, splitting into countless fragments. And Lin Xiao himself was also chopped back repeatedly. After he stabilized his body, Lin Xiao's throat was hot, and he opened his mouth, and spurted out a large mouthful of blood. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan in fear. In addition to being proficient in the way of the sword, Yang Xiaoshan was also proficient in the way of the sword. Not only did he successfully practice the 10,000 swords, a supreme sword technique, that had been lost for many years. He also practiced 10,000 swords and reached the perfect realm. The previous Wangxiang sword technique, Hanshin sword technique, and the sword of slaughter were all in the perfection realm. Together with the current Wandao, it was the perfection realm of the 4 supreme divine powers. How many supreme divine powers did Yang Xiaoshan cultivate? How many supreme divine powers did he cultivate to the perfection realm? Lin Xiao was surprised, and now the strong men from all sides were also surprised. Many strong men could not cultivate a supreme divine power to the perfection realm in their entire lives, but Yang Xiaoshan had already cultivated 4 supreme divine powers to the perfection realm. The key is that Yang Xiaoshan is less than 9 years old. Even Zihang had to marvel. Is there a second sword? Yang Xiaoshan walked towards Lin Xiao with a big sword in his hand. Lin Xiao's face was ugly. Just now, Yang Xiaoshan used this tone to talk to Jiuo Wei. Lin Xiao raised the sword angrily, circulated his true essence frantically, and the divine light on his body surged. Yang Xiaoshan, I don't believe that you can have the 5th supreme divine power. He slashed out with a sword again. When he slashed with his sword, the sword energy rolled, the heat waves rolled, and the surrounding world seemed to have entered a world of fire and magma. The sword energy of the Fire Emperor. Seeing this flame sword energy, many people exclaimed. The sword energy of the Fire Emperor is the supreme magical power created by the Fire Emperor, a generation of powerful people. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshan also slashed with his sword. The sword energy was green and cold, surging like the sea. The cold air on the ring was whistling. The sword energy of the Fire Emperor, which was rolling with sword energy, was instantly covered by the green and cold sword energy. Wherever the green and cold sword energy passed, the sword energy of the Fire Emperor kept disappearing. Yes, it disappeared, as if it had never appeared. The green and cold sword energy slashed Lin Xiao again. Lin Xiao was slashed by the sword energy, thrown up, and fell to the ground from the ring. When Lin Xiao fell to the ground, he saw a terrifying sword cut from his shoulder to his lower abdomen. Looking at the terrifying sword cut, everyone took a breath of cold air. Lin Xiao was a 1,000-layer divine body, a superior divine body, but he was still injured by Yang Xiaoshan. If the cut was a little deeper, Lin Xiao's abdomen would be ripped open. Yang Xiaoshan held the knife and looked coldly at Lin Xiao, who was lying on the ground and could no longer use the third knife. Then he looked at the student from the God of War Academy. The student from the God of War Academy, the fierce beast Zhu Yan, who had just shouted at Lin Xiao, tortured Yang Xiaoshan so much that he couldn't even recognize his own mother. Now seeing Yang Xiaoshan, he was so scared that his legs went weak and he couldn't stand up straight. In the end, the referee announced that Yang Xiaoshan won. Watching Yang Xiaoshan walk off the stage, there was no cheering, only silent shock. Lin Xiao, who had a superior divine body, still lost. Even with the ancient fierce beast Zhu Yan, it was useless. He was still defeated like Jiuo Wei. Zhang Yun, who was furious and criticized Yang Xiaoshan for not knowing how high the sky was and how thick the earth was silent. Everyone was in a complicated mood. Jiuo Wei was defeated, and now even Lin Xiao, who possessed a superior divine body, was defeated. Who else could fight against Yang Xiaoshan? Everyone looked at Zhao Yang. Zhao Yang felt everyone's gaze, but he didn't dare to look at them. Then, it was the second battle of the top 10. In the second battle, Yang Xiaoshan drew Zhao Yang. Although he knew that he would definitely face Yang Xiaoshan, Zhao Yang's hands couldn't help but tremble when he really drew Yang Xiaoshan. In the expectation of everyone, Zhao Yang walked onto the stage and directly admitted defeat to Yang Xiaoshan. When he opened his mouth, Zhao Yang felt his face flushed, his heart beat faster, and he wished he could drill into the ground. Before the competition, he swore to all the gods that, if he met Yang Xiaoshan in the competition, he would definitely not show mercy, but now, he didn't even dare to move his hands. In the end, Yang Xiaoshan won the first place. Zihang was filled with emotion when he saw that Yang Xiaoshan won the first place in Xiandao College's enrollment. Finally, he personally handed over the first prize to Yang Xiaoshan, including the supreme magical power 1,000 Swords of the Sky. With the prize, Yang Xiaoshan, Wu Qi, Chen Changqing and others returned to the house. Looking at Yang Xiaoshen's leaving figure, someone suddenly cried and roared. It's over. I bet on Guo Wei to win this time and bet my entire fortune. I'm still the same. I even bet my mother's precious sword. Then your mother will definitely kill you. Everyone howled. Yang Xiaoshen returned to the road and passed by the business. By the way, he sold the 10 top grade 9 Yang longevity pills and the set of high level treasures. Now, even his subordinates swallowed the top grade 9 Yang longevity pills and used super treasures. These garbage were of course useless. Chapter 149. Be careful of Zhang Yun. Back at the house, Wu Qi, Li Yuan, Chen Changqing and others were celebrating. There was laughter and joy in the house. Even Zhao Jin, who was licking a lollipop, was enjoying it. The results of this Xiandao Academy enrollment test were also quickly reported back to the major kingdoms. Yang Jiazhuang, Yang Ming and Yang He came to Xingyu City for business, but they saw that Xingyu City was rarely filled with festive lanterns and decorations everywhere, which made them feel strange. Yang He couldn't help but pull a guard of the city lord's mansion and ask what was going on. Just now, the news came back from Xiandao Imperial City. In this Xiandao Academy enrollment test, Lord Yang Shen won the first place. The guard of the city lord's mansion said excitedly, "Your Majesty has ordered that all cities in the country celebrate." Yang Xiaoshen won the first place in the Xiandao Academy enrollment test, which is the supreme honor of Shenhe Kingdom. Yang Ming and Yang He were stunned. You mean, Yang Shen, Yang Xiaoshen, won the first place in this Xiandao Academy enrollment test? Yang He asked with a chuckle. Yes, it's Lord Yang. The city lord's mansion guard said excitedly. I heard that Guo Wei from Wuling Academy practiced the strongest ancient body refining art, but was still knocked away by Lord Yang's punch, and was tortured horribly. And our Xiandao Empire's His Highness Zhao Yang, when he met Lord Yang, he didn't even dare to use his hands. The city lord's mansion guard was talking with saliva flying. Yang He's mind was buzzing, and he couldn't hear what he said later. When Yang Ming left, his eyes were dull, and he was at a loss, as if his soul had been lost. That night, after everyone celebrated, Yang Xiaoshen took out the book Xingkan Qianjian, and began to read it. Qiankan Qianjian is worthy of being one of the 10 great sword skills of Beidao Academy. It is extremely mysterious and exquisite. Yang Xiaoshen was immersed in the sword realm of Xingkan Qianjian. Unknowingly, it was already dark. While Yang Xiaoshen was immersed in the realm of the Sword of the Sky Thousand Swords, many masters from various kingdoms, colleges, and families stayed up all night, discussing the Xiandao College's enrollment assessment and Yang Xiaoshen. The main hall of the Xiandao College was also brightly lit. Zihan glanced at Zhang Yun, Fan Ruquan and other masters, and said, "What do you think of this Xiandao College enrollment assessment?" Fan Ruquan pondered and said, "Since Yang Xiaoshen won the first place in this assessment, our college should devote all resources to train him. In previous Xiandao College enrollment assessments, the top 10 would be trained, and as for the first place, all resources would be devoted to training." Upon hearing this, Zhang Yun immediately said, "This is not appropriate. Yang Xiaoshen's martial soul is only level 11, not as good as Guo Wei and Lin Xiao. Guo Wei, Lin Xiao, any one of them, has a stronger martial soul than Yang Xiaoshen. And don't forget, Guo Wei has been recognized as the master of the Heavenly Sword Golden Emperor Sword. I think that Guo Wei and Lin Xiao's future achievements will definitely far surpass Yang Xiaoshen. We should devote all our resources to train Guo Wei or Lin Xiao." Sun Zhen also said, "I agree with Brother Zhang. We should devote all our resources to train Guo Wei and Lin Xiao. Guo Wei is the reincarnation of a god, and he has been recognized as the master of the Golden Emperor Sword. Lin Xiao possesses a superior divine body. Both of them are expected to achieve the realm of gods in the future, but Yang Xiaoshen may not be able to do so. Instead of wasting resources on Yang Xiaoshen, it is better to use them on Guo Wei and Lin Xiao." The second elder Zhu Chen, who did not speak, and the other elders also echoed Zhang Yun and Sun Zhen. They were also more optimistic about Guo Wei and Lin Xiao. Fan Ruquan frowned. Although Guo Wei and Lin Xiao's martial spirit talents are higher than Yang Xiaoshen's, Yang Xiaoshen is the first in this enrollment assessment. Zhang Yun said, the college has no regulations, that all resources must be used to train the first place. Fan Ruquan was silent. The college did not have any regulations, that all resources must be used to train the first place. One night passed. The sun was shining. Yang Xiaoshan came out of the room and called Liuan and others to buy a batch of Xianshan slaves from the slave market in Xiandao Imperial City. After all, the house is spacious and the flowers and plants need to be taken care of. When Yang Xiaoshan was about to leave the house and go to Xiandao College, he saw Chen Changqing, Hele, Ren Fixu and 5 others coming to find Yang Xiaoshan. Since the enrollment assessment of Xiandao College has ended, the 5 people came to say goodbye to Yang Xiaoshan and return to Shenjian College. Before leaving, Chen Changqing hesitated for a moment and asked Yang Xiaoshan to be careful of Zhang Yun, the great elder of Xiandao College. Be careful of Zhang Yun? Yang Xiaoshan felt strange. After all, he had no grudge against Zhang Yun. Chen Changqing explained, Zhang Yun's grandfather Zhang Lu died at the hands of Lord Kaoshan, so the Zhang family has always had a grudge against our Divine Sword Academy, and you, the Palace Master, inherited the legacy of Lord Kaoshan, and I'm afraid Zhang Yun will be bad for you. Yang Xiaoshan was stunned. Grandpa Zhang Yun was killed by Kaoshan? So Palace Master, you have to be careful of Zhang Yun and the masters of the Zhang family. Chen Changqing said, in addition to Zhang Yun, there are many masters of the Zhang family in Xiandao Academy. Okay, I know. Yang Xiaoshan said, and then sent Chen Changqing, Hele and the other 5 out of Xiandao Imperial City, and gave each of the 5 a super treasure sword. After the figures of Chen Changqing and the other 5 disappeared in the sky, Yang Xiaoshan turned back, but he did not return to the house, but went to Xiandao Academy, and then went straight to the book pavilion. According to regulations, the top 10 students in the Xiandao Academy's enrollment assessment can enter the book pavilion and browse the secret books and major and minor magical powers in the book pavilion at will. After entering the library, Yang Xiaoshan was browsing some secret books on magical powers on the 3rd floor when he heard some disciples talking in the corner. I heard that the top leaders of the academy were arguing fiercely last night. The vice president believed that the academy should devote all its resources to train Yang Xiaoshan. But the first elder, the third elder and many other elders believed that Jiuo Wei and Lin Xiao's martial spirits were higher than Yang Xiaoshan's, and they were expected to achieve the divine realm in the future. They should devote all their resources to train Jiuo Wei and the 2, and should not waste resources on Yang Xiaoshan. What happened later? Later, the first elder proposed that whoever broke through the martial arts realm first among the 3 should be trained with all his resources. In previous years, the academy has always devoted all its resources to train the first place in the enrollment. I think the first elder is targeting Yang Xiaoshan. Hush. Listening to the discussion in the corner, Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. There was such a thing. Although Zhang Yun only proposed that whoever broke through the martial arts realm first should be trained with all his resources, everyone knew that Jiuo Wei and Lin Xiao were both at the 7th level of the martial king realm, and he is only at the 4th level of Wu Wang. If he practices normally, Jiuo Wei and Lin Xiao will definitely break through the Wu Zhang realm faster. Therefore, Zhang Yun's proposal is clearly in favor of Jiuo Wei and Lin Xiao. He doesn't care about the resources of Xiandao Academy. He entered Xiandao Academy more to get the Yulang sword and to join the True Dragon sect with the help of Xiandao Academy. But didn't Zhang Yun believe that Jiuo Wei and Lin Xiao could break through the Wu Zhang realm faster? Then he asked Zhang Yun to open his eyes and see who could break through the Wu Zhang realm faster. Chapter 150. Otherwise, no one can protect you. Thinking of the dragon sword, Yang Xiaoshan went to find Huang Yiking, the head teacher of the 1st grade class. He is now a student of the 1st grade class of Xiandao College. Huang Yiking was very polite and friendly when he saw Yang Xiaoshan. After all, Yang Xiaoshan ranked 1st in this year's assessment. When he heard Yang Xiaoshan ask how to comprehend the dragon sword, Huang Yiking was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Xiaoshan to ask this on the first day he came to see him. Before Huang Yiking opened his mouth, a student beside him sneered, Yang Xiaoshan, do you think you can comprehend the dragon sword? If you want to. The tone was unfriendly and very unfriendly to Yang Xiaoshan. This student was Zhang Lei, a disciple of the Zhang family. Zhang Lei was also a student of the first grade class, but he was an old student who passed the Xiandao College admissions assessment last year. The rules of Xiandao College are that only those who break through the martial arts realm can be promoted to the second grade. Zhang Lei is now in the 9th level of the martial arts king realm, so he is still a first year student. This Zhang Lei is not simple. He ranked second in the last Xiandao College admissions assessment. In terms of talent, he is not inferior to Zhao Yang and his group. Yang Xiaoshan looked at him. Huang Yiking cleared his throat and introduced him to Yang Xiaoshan. Xiaoshan, this is Zhang Lei, our class monitor. If you have any questions in the future, you can ask him. Zhang Lei, a disciple of the Zhang family? Yang Xiaoshan understood. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan looking at him, Zhang Lei stood up and said arrogantly, Yang Xiaoshan, don't think that you are great just because you won the first place in this enrollment examination. You want to comprehend the Dragon Sword as soon as you come. There are thousands of students in Xiandao Academy. The talented disciples who want to comprehend the Dragon Sword can line up at the gate of the academy. It is not your turn to comprehend the Dragon Sword. Huang Yiking saw that the atmosphere was not right and quickly said, Xiaoshan, the Dragon Sword is a heavenly sword. There are indeed many disciples who want to comprehend the Dragon Sword. The academy has set a rule that only the top 10 disciples in the grade can comprehend the Dragon Sword. At this point, he took out a school manual and gave it to Yang Xiaoshan. You can read the academy rules more when you go back. Yang Xiaoshan glanced at Zhang Lei coldly and took the academy manual from Huang Yiking. Afterwards, Huang Yiking gave Yang Xiaoshan the school uniform and other things. When Yang Xiaoshan was about to leave, Zhang Lei snorted again. Yang Xiaoshan, you'd better obey the school rules. I'm the monitor of class 1 now. If you don't obey the school rules, I will have to teach you a lesson. You? Yang Xiaoshan turned around. Zhang Lei's whole body suddenly flashed with lightning, and the aura of the 9th level of the Martial King swept over and locked Yang Xiaoshan. Just me. Even if you are the first in this enrollment examination, I want to teach you a lesson. One hand is enough. Huang Yiking quickly stood between the two of them and said to Yang Xiaoshan and Zhang Lei with a wry smile, I say, two uncles, don't fight in my small courtyard. My courtyard can't stand your tossing. If you want to compete, it won't be too late to compete during the monthly examination. Zhang Lei's aura was retracted, and he looked down at Yang Xiaoshan. Okay, let's wait until the monthly examination, and then we will compete. Yang Xiaoshan, do you dare? Why not? Yang Xiaoshan looked at him with contempt and turned away. Yang Xiaoshan's contemptuous eyes made Zhang Lei's face darken. He stared at Yang Xiaoshan coldly and waited for the monthly examination in a month, and he would help Yang Xiaoshan loosen up his muscles. As a student of Xiandao College, Yang Xiaoshan was arranged to live in the college. Each student had an independent courtyard. As Yang Xiaoshan ranked first in the enrollment assessment, his courtyard was much larger than that of other students. Moreover, the courtyard was full of spiritual energy, and many spiritual flowers and spiritual objects that were helpful for cultivation were planted. After leaving, Yang Xiaoshan went to see the residence arranged by the college for him, but he did not stay for long and returned to his own house. However, just as he was about to walk out of the college gate, he met Jiuo Wei, Lin Xiao and Xiao Yang. The three of them walked together, arm in arm, and seemed to be chatting well. However, in addition to the three of them, there was also a student from the inner courtyard of Xiandao College. The other party had sword eyebrows and red nose, fair skin, and was a little thin. Jiuo Wei, Lin Xiao and Xiao Yang were following behind this inner courtyard student, Yang Xiaoshan. When Jiuo Wei and the other two saw that it was Yang Xiaoshan, their faces suddenly turned cold. You are Yang Xiaoshan? The inner courtyard student looked up and down at Yang Xiaoshan with a scrutinizing look. Jiuo Wei said to Yang Xiaoshan, Yang Xiaoshan, this is Brother Hekings from the inner courtyard of our Xiandao Academy. Brother Hekings was chosen by the Fulong Sword sect and will definitely be able to join the Fulong Sword sect in the future. Why don't you come and pay your respects? Paying your respects. Yang Xiaoshan sneered and stared at Hekings. You were the one who sent people to kidnap my sister? He Kings was from Wooing Academy and was familiar with Guowei, so Yang Xiaoshan was not surprised. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan questioning him, He Kings looked down at Yang Xiaoshan. So what if it is? So what if it is not? If so, you deserve to die. Yang Xiaoshan looked at him coldly. When He Kings heard this, his eyes were like swords. Boy, believe it or not, I will crush you to death here now. He said again, do you think that, because your sister is from the True Dragon Divine Sect, I dare not kill you? Even if I crush you to death now, the True Dragon Divine Sect can't do anything to me. At this point, his momentum soared. Just when He Kings was about to make a move, suddenly, an inner courtyard student came over. This inner courtyard student was tall and strong, and had an amazing aura. Seeing this inner courtyard student, He King's face darkened. Chen Jun, He Kings, and Xian Miling were known as the three genius disciples of the inner courtyard of Xiandao Academy. Back then, Chen Jun also graduated from the Divine Sword Academy, and He Kings had always been sworn enemies. Chen Jun looked at He Kings and said disdainfully, He Kings, you are going backwards as you grow older. You are a dignified inner courtyard student, but you dare to attack a freshman. Don't you feel ashamed? He King snorted coldly. Chen Jun, don't think I'm afraid of you. When I comprehend the sword tower, I will make you look good. After that, he took Guowei, Lin Xiao, and Xiao Yang away. After He Kings and the others left, Chen Jun glanced at Yang Xiaoshan and said, Yang Xiaoshan, right? Since we are both from the Divine Sword Academy, I will help you this time. I will not help you again in the future. You can take care of yourself. Also, after entering Xiandao Academy, it is best not to be too arrogant, otherwise, no one can protect you. After saying that, he was about to leave. Yang Xiaoshan said, Chen Jun, right? I don't think I asked you to mind your own business. Also, don't talk to me in this preaching tone in the future, otherwise, even if you are from the Divine Sword Academy, I will still blast you. Yang Xiaoshan said and left. Blast me? Chen Jun stopped and looked at Yang Xiaoshan's leaving figure. He was angry. He had heard that Yang Xiaoshan was very arrogant. It turned out to be very arrogant. In this case, kid, even if you come to me crying and begging me in the future, I will not meddle in your business. Who cares if your mother lives or dies? After He Kings and the others left, they walked towards the sword tower. Guowei said, Chen Jun is a big trouble. With him protecting Yang Xiaoshan, it will be difficult to deal with Yang Xiaoshan. When Chen Jun was mentioned, He King's eyes were full of murderous intent. Chen Jun won't be arrogant for long. I will soon be able to comprehend the sword tower swordsmanship. When I deal with Chen Jun, I will slowly crush Yang Xiaoshan to death. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.